What is going on, everybody? It is episode 397 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I am here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. It looks like Brett forgot to put up the green light in the background again. Anyways, Pride Month is almost over. I am still really excited about it, but unfortunately, they're bringing Warrior Nun back. So they just had to leave that in there right at the end of the month.
Well, we'll talk about that. Like that's it's kind of a perfect example that you can get your show brought back if you're annoying enough, and that's a good thing. I say, like, if people want to watch it, go ahead. If Netflix wants to waste their money and people aren't actually paying money to go, or signing back up to Netflix to watch it, if they want to waste their money, that's their business. So.
And today we have two guests on the show. You already saw them. But let's
Ian, to my right. Ian, how's it going?
What's up, everybody?
Sheehan.
I'm Ian Crossland. No, I'm Taylor Silverman. I work here at Timcast on the show Cast Castle. And yeah, we've also got another guest in the studio.
I'm Wesley Roth, and I kind of just hang out here. Don't do much.
He's just around.
Yeah. I haven't done a show with you in like 5 months.
It feels like it's been a long time. Yeah.
But I'm here, and get used to it.
How's the show going?
Good. We dropped in.
Not to. You got a new episode coming out
last night.
Like, all right, that's enough about it.
Good. That's all I needed to know. Yeah,
just
last
came
night.
out?
Last night. Yeah.
It's like how's it been doing?
That's a great question. I feel like we're trying to do different things every single week, so that because the people that watch it have different tastes, so the show's it's whatever it has to be. Like this time starts feeling like a dystopian thriller, and we put like a lot of effort into production just to flex those muscles. But the one before it was like complete nonsense and vloggy, and we try to satisfy all of those.
To be fair, they're all pretty nonsensical.
True, but yeah, that's true.
But
that's
it's
the
a lot
point.
of fun.
But
It's fun.
I
supposed to be
recognize
fun.
that it used to be something else, and it's like becoming something else every week. But we try to scratch the itch for everybody that still watches it.
Excellent.
But
All right.
go check out last night's episode and leave a comment to let us know what you think.
Yeah.
There you go.
We appreciate
Yeah.
the feedback.
On Timcast.com.
We do love yes, on timcast.com.
Also, if there are any people in the chat that are new to this show that recommended from the Chrissy Mayer pod that I went on last night, welcome.
Yes. How you guys doing?
Glad to see you here if you are here.
Also, I'm starting to think like for a certain amount of crisis parties, I'll do more for Cast Castle. How about
There we
that?
go.
Like,
You hear that?
I had some people say that they thought the last thing I did there was really, really funny. And
It
I was
was
like, it was
really
literally
funny.
one line.
What
No,
makes
it's like 3
Wesley
lines.
so mad
Yeah.
is when you don't want to be a part of his fucking cast castle.
That's what Ice Cube would say if he was here right now. Ice Cube would say like,
I'm having terrible language today. I'm
The
sorry.
funny thing about the last time you were on Cast Castle was like, I was like, hey, I want you to do the scene. And I sent it to you, and you're like, this is exactly what I said to you yesterday. I was like, yes.
Wait, we're allowed to say fuck?
no,
Well, no,
she just
but
did.
I did it.
Oh,
because
oops.
I'm the host. I'm allowed to say things.
I got really excited for a second.
Frack.
In fact,
But-
half my job ends up being me screwing up and not being well spoken because I'm about to swear, and then I catch myself, and then I stop and I lose my train of thought, and I sound like an absolute moron. I mean, I sound like a moron most of the time, anyways, but I sound like more of a moron if I have to be like, and fracking or fricking. I said fricking growing up. I said frick a lot. So, all right, guys, we got a bunch of stuff to talk about today. We are going to discuss the casting of both Superman and Lois Lane, David Cornsweat, which is my favorite name ever now, and Rachel. I don't know if it's Brosnahan or if it's Brosnan. I've heard both. Do you know?
I've always heard Brosnahan.
That's
but, yeah.
what I said. So I heard somebody say
I'm just
the
gonna
H is
say
silent.
Brosnan because I don't care.
There you go. So we're gonna talk about them. It's basically it's Henry Cavill Jr. and Kate Spade's niece. So we're gonna talk about it.
Aren't they
We're-
both from House of Cards, too?
Yeah.
R.I.P. your
her
aunt, Rachel.
Her more than him. Her more than him. So we're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about Demi Lovato's new song "Swine," which I knew Mary was very excited about. She was very excited about this song. It's a pro-abortion song. It's it's really, really family friendly. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Kim Petras, who wants you to go on hormones and know that sex work is okay. So that's
It's not just okay, it's empowering.
it's very empowering.
And you could do sex work so you can afford to go on hormones.
yeah!
exactly.
Yay.
See, modern problems.
That's the American dream, I heard.
Yep.
Modern problems, modern solutions, all that stuff. So we're going to talk about that.
We have the technology.
I also want to talk about the fact that Disney has a couple of things in the pipeline right now which are very, very negative in connotation for the company, mainly that Indiana Jones in the Dial of Destiny, which we are going to see tomorrow, is pacing, and there's a bunch of box office analysis that is saying that it might not do very well at the box office, to the tune of losing hundreds of millions of dollars. Not just that, but Secret Invasion, starring Samuel L. Jackson as Nick Fury, barely scratching 1 million viewers an episode, according to Samba TV, which, you know, I point out all the time. I said, no matter how bad these companies do, nothing seems to change. But, you know, you can only do bad for so long before something's got to give. So we're going to get into all that. We got a bunch of other stuff. So if you guys are ready, we'll get right into it. Wesley, are you ready?
Let's go anyway.
Okay. Mary, are you ready?
Yes.
Taylor, you ready?
I'm always ready.
Let's do this. All right. First things first. Mary, tell us all about Warrior Nun and how much you love Warrior Nun.
Well, I don't begrudge the fans their right to protest or anything, but I just felt like this show never had the hype that deserved for it to be canceled and then uncanceled by Netflix.
Yeah.
Given that, like, better shows or more well-liked shows like 1899 aren't going to make a comeback, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
It just
I would
seems like
imagine
they kicked up enough of a fuss, and now it's going to continue in this pattern where if a show gets canceled, people think if we just complain on social media enough, then we'll get it back.
I imagine 1889 cost more to make than
Really?
yeah,
Probably.
than Warrior Nun. So it's just something to take in mind. There, okay, the computer's catching up now. There we go. I had no interest in watching this, but they did
Wow.
everything. They did everything that the Snyderverse people did. They took out billboards. They protested in front of Netflix headquarters.
The show creator, by the way, in his Twitter screen name is just his full name and then the words Legacy Blue Check. I already hate this guy.
Well, he's got to let you know that he didn't pay for his blue check originally. He got it on his own.
He's relevant and
Yes.
he's important, and you should know that.
Blue check is
He's better than you.
the least likely way, like reasonable way to know whether somebody matters or not.
No.
Though here's the funny thing, like ever since like they gave us like the blue checks from Timcast, I do notice like an influx of people where I'm like this movie's great.
Okay.
They're like, well, have you thought about offing yourself?
Do you two have the Timcast blue check?
No.
Or-
I don't have it. I don't have a blue check at all. I don't pay.
I don't
for
have one
Twitter.
either. It's just you, Brett.
It just showed up one day.
Who do
Yeah,
I gotta?
sure.
Who do I have to email?
You should literally
Who do I have to fuck around here? I'm just kidding.
what's a girl got to do to like who's
Get a
girl got to blow
croissant.
to
Girl have to fuck around here to get a croissant.
but ever since I posted that, now people see the Timcast in there and they're like, oh, have you ever thought about just like jumping off a bridge?
I have it
Because-
like written in my bio, and I'll get comments like that where Timcast in bio.
Really? I don't
Literally,
get those
yeah.
comments, and I do have Timcast in bio. That's weird.
I do
don't
love
know.
the in bio part. Like
They already know that I'm racist, so they don't need to call it out. I'm just kidding.
all right,
I'm
so
kind of on one today.
yeah.
You know,
Well,
we need to get a meeting, demand our
Yeah.
checks. No, I don't really
Sta-
care, but
Standing at the concession,
It would be
plotting
cool.
your oppression.
Yeah.
all right, guys.
Timcast union coming soon.
That's hey.
We're gonna
I mean,
unionize.
like, look,
we did a Cast Castle episode about
4 of them, in fact.
Yeah.
No, that's fairly relevant because right now, ladies and gentlemen, did you see this? That Hollywood is threatening to strike again. The Screen Actors Guild.
I've
is
always
about,
said actors don't get paid enough.
Yeah.
I've always said, no, I'm lying.
Look, the Screen Actors Guild is looking like they're going to strike as well. And all I can think about is like, look, we have a bunch of stories here in the last week that have all to do with Disney failing, projects not making any money, things going under, nobody's doing anything right, but everybody wants more money. Everyone wants more job security, like Crimea River, dickface. I'm not going to give that to you. Like, you don't deserve it.
Signatures include Chelsea Handler, Ava Longoria, Jennifer Lawrence, Mark Ruffalo, Meryl Streep, Rami Malek,
Yeah, Meryl Streep hasn't made enough.
Amy Schumer.
Yep.
I don't know. It seems like a lot of these people are disposable.
They're concerned about artificial intelligence. I would be too if
If
I
they
was an
make an
annoying person.
OnlyFans, is that breaking the picket line?
No.
They can't promote their work.
The
It's a performance.
but it's not a Screen Actors Guild. It's not a project through
So
the union.
they are allowed to do porn.
Yes, if they wanted to.
Okay.
Yeah, because that wouldn't be the same thing.
They're
right?
not above that.
So it says the letter also calls out members' fears and concerns around the use of artificial intelligence, saying we do not believe that SAG-AFTRA members can afford to make halfway gains in anticipation that more will be coming in the next 3 years. We think it is absolutely vital that this negotiation protects not just our likenesses, but make sure that we are well compensated when we are out, when any of our work is used to train AI. Thoughts?
Well, they just want royalties. They're not worried about AI.
The other thing I was seeing, like it's like a human being training the CAPTCHA machine, so it's basically like that to them. So,
well, I didn't realize all these years that I've been helping make self-driving cars.
Yes.
I feel like I should have been told something about that.
Where's our compensation?
Seems unethical.
I think that for the actors, like it's I feel like the actors and the writers both are having a hard time because you listen to them and it just sounds like whining from all of them because they're all overpaid. The writers maybe less so, but the actors are absolutely overpaid most of the time when you're doing these productions. So, like, I don't really care.
That's why Henry Cavill got replaced.
I don't really care what Amy. Actually, no, never mind. I do care what Amy Acker has to say. I love Amy Acker. I thought it said Amy Adams. I don't care what Amy.
Bacon's also on the list.
I don't care what Kevin Bacon says.
And Quinta Brunson. I will never respect someone who formerly worked at BuzzFeed and got their start there.
Also,
you got your start making brownie video, like making brownies at BuzzFeed. That was your job.
I also saw Megan Boone on this list, and she did a thing once. I remember she had this really funny part where she's like, her character on the blacklist will no longer use an AR-15 because it's a weapon of war, and the producer's like, yeah, she can't promise that.
There's Liam Neeson. Oh, this one.
Liam Neeson's too busy
Elliot
peeing on
Page.
Liam Neeson is too busy
his
peeing
pants.
on himself. He can't stop to go here and do the show. Oh, we got a $20 super chat
Elliot
there.
Page is on here too.
This one's from CJ McLean. He said, Mary, have you heard of the good news? Velma is getting a season 2. Also sent a pic of my cat in a box and forgot to add that his name is Chill.
Well, thank you. And yes, guys, by the way, subscribe to this channel and hit the like button on this video if you have not done so already. Remember, all super chats $20 and over, just like CJ's there. We will interrupt the discussion. We will read them right then and there, and then you will watch me struggle valiantly to get back on topic without my brain fogging over and forgetting what the hell we were talking
So
about.
are you stoked about Velma?
I already knew they were making a season.
Yeah,
2.
that was always going
Was that
to be.
not?
No,
is that
was
news?
No, that was already confirmed. Well, it's likely one of those things like with a lot of animated shows where they already commissioned 2 seasons and they just pretend like the second season
wasn't so popular. It actually was, sadly, because of the hate watching, which we were a part of.
See, I don't think there was a lot of hate. I think people overemphasize hate watching. I think hate watching is popular for people to then go watch reviews of people who hate watch and then go and roast the show.
Like one person sacrifices themselves and then tells everyone about it.
It's that's like the number one thing they always label. It's I watch this so you don't have to, basically, right? Like I don't like that. Like Velma was like one of the few times. Velma and Rings of Power were like the only times where I felt like I had to do that. When I'm not I'm one of those people where I'm like life's too short. I do not care to watch a bunch of stuff that's going to actively make me mad, even if it is for content.
Ian was in the Screen Actors Guild, but his membership lapsed.
Gotta pay your union dues, bro.
Damn. If he were still in it, he wouldn't be able to go on Cast Castle.
See, now we need to get one where Ian did Ian protest in your Cast Castle?
Did he protest? No.
As the one? No, the one about
yes, but no.
The one about the Screen Actors. The one about protesting.
The union. He was the candidate for union president, so I would say yes.
Ian would make a great president.
Yeah, he ran as a bit of a protest.
Yeah,
this was a while ago.
Yeah.
That was back in the beginning.
Yeah, I would love to see Ian as president of anything. Like he could
be in the cabinet. I don't know if I trust him with that much. I don't know if I trust him with the red button.
So how does the Screen Actors Guild work? You pay a fee every year, but if you don't, you're out?
I don't know if it's yearly. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know how often the dues are due. But for the Screen Actors Guild, look, there's a lot of other names on here. I didn't even notice Connie Britton's name is on here. Look, I get the concerns, but it will put infinitely more pressure on the studios to have both the writers and the actors striking, and though the directors just the other day enthusiastically approved the signing of their deal. So the directors are good to go. Directors don't care. They're ready to do their job, but they also, like, AI isn't going to replace them the same way it could possibly replace writers or cause problems for royalties for actors. So they've got more concern with that. Directors are like, look, they're always going to need a human being to direct. And then we just had a topic the other day, it was last Friday, where we talked about how Warner Brothers is using machine learning and basically like AI to start picking what projects to greenlight, which is hilarious given the fact that when you think about it, the people who have been picking projects for the last decade in Hollywood are awful. Like, how bad could a machine be at picking projects when human beings are already as bad as they are?
True.
Like, if you think about it, think about a computer.
I mean, they pick them the same way, so it's...
No, but think about a computer that looks at the box office returns on how much a movie makes, and they're like, well, look, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny is looking to make less than like $400 million under what it needs to even break even. Do we want to make another Indiana Jones movie? Like, it's not going to want to do that. I mean, there's obviously, I'm ridiculously oversimplifying it. There's an insane amount of variables,
that
other
go
factors
that are going to go into that.
But you understand what I'm saying,
I
right?
do,
Like,
yes.
the idea would be it's the dispassionate meme about the AI when it decides to solve world hunger, just kills off half the planet, right? Like, it's like maybe Disney can be like, Disney's going to become insolvent. We'll just sell off half of our properties, right? That'd be cool. They get rid of Marvel and sell Marvel to somebody else.
That'd be great.
That'd be great. So yeah, it says their sign off from the actors asked their leadership to push for change and ensure protections they're asked for. If we're not able to get all the way there, they had Fran Drescher speak in her Fran Drescher the nanny voice, which is always really funny. It's really I love it. It's really funny.
You called it nails on a chalkboard,
but it's like but I love it. It's because it reminds me of the nanny. I'm even too young for the nanny.
Do you
but my
remember
mom loved
the
that show.
episode where she eats wasabi? And it like clears her sinuses for a second.
That's
she
amazing.
Speaks normal.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder how they did that. I wonder if they like dubbed the audio or something.
I'm sure she can change her voice.
Think so?
If she wants to.
But it was still like a regular. It was like an American accent. It was just not
It just wasn't like the Fran voice.
the high pitched
Yeah.
kind of. It's not even high pitched. I don't even know how to describe it.
Nasal.
It's nasally. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. So we'll see what happens with that. I don't know. But also, guys, speaking of people failing, remember The Flash could lose almost $200 million at the box office. I had predicted $100 million loss. Again, these people are striking. They want more money. They want more benefits. They want securities and assurances from these studios, and the studios are just like, you're not making us any money.
Yeah.
We're not
This is
profiting.
unrelated because this is DC, obviously, but I do believe we're going to live to see the day when Disney sells off Marvel.
I don't
for
know
sure.
about that.
I don't know.
Like, I think there's too much money to be made.
I don't think
they're
so.
not making it.
They're not
and
making money.
I think they would sell off Luke aspects.
We're gonna
of
get into that later. Sorry,
so
but
maybe not. Maybe not. Like we'd have to see. Like they might connect source material more to Marvel than to Indiana Jones or to Star Wars. Even though there is a ton of Star Wars canon that they ignore.
Before they
anyways.
sell anything, they're going to do something like they already do with video games, where they sell rights to specific aspects of the IP to people to produce. So
They'd probably sell Pixar before they'd sell off any of the other ones because they got their own animation division that they'd rather focus on anyways.
True, but like it's I just don't see them like compartmentalizing that way. I see them like licensing things out like Marvel used to do.
They're still doing that now. Like they license out characters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right. So yeah, they're saying The Flash could lose up to $200 million at the box office. 73% drop off from week 1 to week 2, which is absolutely bonkers, ladies and gentlemen. Also, did you see that Pat Sajak is gone, or he's going to be gone, and Ryan Seacrest is going to take over for him?
I love that clip where Britney Spears, I think, is just shocked that Ryan Seacrest has a wife. Like, she thought he was gay.
Is it old? Is it an old clip?
It's not that old of a clip.
She's just like, oh, you're married.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
It's sort of like James Corden. You would never expect it.
I also wonder if something happened behind the scenes because they kind of point out that Pat Sajak leaving was like sudden, unexpected, which reeks of like we're covering up for something bad that happened. I'm not saying that that's the truth here.
Misconduct?
Maybe.
Yeah.
You know.
He's also very vocally conservative.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense then. That's awesome. That's actually really, really funny. I wonder what Vanna White is.
She still sings Sajak's praises.
She's angling for a raise. She's been making $3 million a year for 18 years. Not a single raise in 18 years, ladies and gentlemen.
How do you scratch by on that, though?
How do you get by on just $3 million a year, right? Like after taxes, it's like $1.3 million. What's a girl got to do to buy a mansion in this town when you're just making $1.3 million a year?
She absolutely cannot buy a vowel.
No,
on
she
that.
was making.
No.
She was making $3 million, not 1.3.
Yeah, I'm saying
No,
after
after
taxes.
taxes.
I'm saying like she's probably paying 40% of that in taxes. Are you kidding me? She's not taking home $3 million. How's a lady supposed to buy a mansion in Calabasas on just $1 million a year? That's only $18 million roughly. So, you know, it's going to be interesting because she's trying to renegotiate, but then like what, does she have to like break in the new guy? Like it'll be hilarious.
Well, if you're hiring Ryan Seacrest, you expect him to be show ready day one.
He will. They were pointing out that he was like, it feels like that became his thing, right? He became kind of like Carson Daly. He's the living embodiment of what Carson Daly was.
Carson
in the
Daly
early
are like
2000s.
a really, early 2000s Bob Hope.
Yep. And tell us about what happened with BTS. I didn't understand this story with
You
Jimin.
didn't? Okay. BTS singer Jimin's recent release of his song Angel Part 1 disappeared from the Billboard charts almost as quickly as it arrived. He re-released it as Angel Part 2, but it couldn't get to number 1 because Bryson Gray's new rap song, Reclaim the Rainbow, took the number 1 spot. It was a homophobic single that garnered even greater sales numbers. This Billboard article, or no, the Forbes article about it said that this song, it attempts to portray pride celebrations and the acceptance of the LGBTQ community in a negative light. Heavily references religion as well as various celebrities and politicians in an effort to make some kind of point.
I love that. They just can't stop themselves from being ridiculously snarky.
It was actually like not a bad song. It's
Better
way
than
better
81
than 81 Million Votes My Ass.
Man, I got
that's
some
for
hate.
sure.
I got some hate for calling that song cringe. I was like, that song is really lame.
For political songs from the right wing, it is not bad.
No.
I haven't heard the new one yet, but I actually really like the song Homemakers.
I haven't heard that.
It's another song by Bryson, and it's
Bryson
good.
is great. Whoever made 81 Million Votes My Ass, you got to step it up. That was like the worst attempt at like rock, country, and rap.
You know who's also a conservative rapper, really good? High Res.
I haven't heard of him.
He's a Jewish rapper,
He was
and he's
here a couple months
awesome.
ago.
He's been
he
here.
wasn't that long ago.
He's got a song 2 + 2 = 5. Go check it out. And the music video is hilarious.
I was watching. It's really funny because I was watching the behind-the-scenes making of the Angel music video during when all the Fast and Furious stuff was coming out, and it's really funny watching like them on set, and Jimin just looks really, really like almost uncomfortable.
I just think Bryson Gray needs to hire some private security if he hasn't already and stay strapped because the BTS stans are going to come for your ass.
The
Seriously.
headline.
They take streams very seriously. Like, he should be worried about his safety at this point.
In what world is like a song beating you, blocking you from a spot? I don't understand that.
Well, he can't get to number 1 on the iTunes chart.
It just means he won. It doesn't mean
I know,
he's blocking
yeah.
you.
It's like,
Yeah.
It's like what he is keeping him from his rightful place.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, no, you lost, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
I
don't
doubt that
understand.
Jimin is pressed about this, but his fans, you got to worry about them.
Yeah.
Jimin probably doesn't
At
have any
least-
clue what's going on.
at least
Why
it
would he? It's
wasn't
not his, he wouldn't care.
A Taylor Swift song in the Swifties, they would have lost their minds.
Still, I think that the BTS stans are even scarier
You think
than
so?
the Swifties. Yeah.
There was no, because just today Taylor Swift fans are still going after John Mayer, even though she literally said stop going after John Mayer.
She was using reverse psychology on them, though. She was like, guys, stop harassing my ex-boyfriends.
Wink,
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 nudge,
wink, walk.
nudge. Yep, that's
The opposite result.
It's really hurting him.
like if you date Taylor Swift now, you really do have to take into account like what's going to happen.
That's
to
what
my
Matty
life.
Healy said. He was like, it's really emasculating to date Taylor Swift, and then he did it.
Yeah. But also it's like it's not just that, but it's like you have to take into account like what is my life going to look like when this inevitably goes sour, because it's going to go sour. Like, you know, I guess maybe it's the ultimate male like desire to succeed to be the one who finally wifes up Taylor Swift. But your odds are not in your favor.
The track record indicates to me that perhaps she doesn't just keep picking bad guys,
Yeah.
but perhaps
Look
inward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You are the common denominator here.
They
That's
don't.
what I was saying.
I mean, she may also be picking horrible guys. From what I know, it seems.
But that still makes it a personal
But
problem.
then
Yeah, it
her
does,
and
yeah.
Maddie Healy's representatives then claimed they were never dating. They were just having fun and hanging out. So Taylor Swift's body count must be just astronomical.
Think so?
Yeah.
Like, I think
It's
funnier.
gotta be.
It's funnier if she's a virgin. It's funnier if she's a virgin.
There's no way. Sorry. There's no way.
It's funnier if she's a virgin. So, all right, guys. I want to mention that Elon Musk could actually win their fight because there was a video of him sparring with Lex Friedman, and apparently he does do some working out, and he does.
Lex Friedman is such a psyop.
He is such a psyop.
I'm sorry.
Like he just literally appeared on the internet one day. Like
Yeah.
he appeared fully formed. 100 podcasts were already done, and he was just there.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't he recommended to Rogan by Malice? Mm-hmm. He was like, "Hey, you should talk to my friend Lex."
Yeah.
He's
But
totally a CIA plant.
it really does feel like one day you just like looked online and there was like 10 years of work that nobody in history had
Yeah.
ever seen before from him.
I don't get it.
He's absolutely
Why was he sparring with Elon Musk?
he is the intellectual equivalent to the Patriot Front. He's totally a psyop.
yeah.
He's like he's very clearly a Fed.
Yeah.
Any Lex Friedman fans in the chat?
There's very, very mad right now if that's
us
true.
know.
But yeah, it shows it doesn't show the video here, but basically there were some snaps of him. He's like sparred with Elon the other day. He's like, oh, he did really good. It's funnier if Lex Friedman is actually just an undercover fight promoter and he really just wants them to go head to head so he can make a bunch of money off of it. Like that's what I want. Like just make your money.
It's been like this the whole time, all leading up to this moment.
Well, it is kind of becoming that way now, right? Because like celebrities fighting is becoming a huge thing. Whether it's the Paul brothers
Who else
fighting,
was there?
or even old boxers who do the exhibition fights, like Mike Tyson, Mayweather. Like a lot of them, it's becoming a very big thing that you get to see your favorite celebrities box now. I mean, the whole creator clash is a thing.
Right, but they're not real celebrities.
It's some kind of like micro celebrity.
Also, like if they're already a boxer,
Yeah.
that's like why they're famous.
But there's been, who are the other ones? So we've got Creator Clash. There have been like the Paul brothers got into these sports, but it's becoming a thing where celebrities are turning to these sports to make it to like reinvigorate their career.
Yeah.
Like I remember when in the chat they mentioned no Lex talk without Dane. Nobody hates Lex Friedman more than Dane.
No.
Someone said watching paint dry is more entertaining than Lex Friedman.
I can't do it. Like when he starts talking, it starts to sound like white noise to me. Like not like maybe that's good for certain people, but I need more like
He's definitely an AI bot.
it's possible. I just don't know. It's just
They're
it's
just
not
testing
my
out
thing.
the technology.
And when we say he's a Fed, we're obviously being ridiculously hyperbolic. It did seem like he came out of nowhere one day and just appeared. People said that about the Whatever podcast. They're like,
Well, that's
literally
not true because Whatever is genuinely like a new show.
But the channel goes back years.
The channel has been around for like a decade or
Yeah.
something, but he wasn't doing the podcast until quite recently.
But what they were saying is like, I don't remember if it was like Razorfist. It's like one day I just opened Twitter and there
And
was
the
just
algorithm
100
just-
videos of this. He's like of this dude with his like his like mediocre red pill takes, and whatever you think of his takes, it did feel like it all came together at a very similar time frame. Like you didn't see clips a little bit for a while. And then all at once, it was like it all just kind of happened all at once. But that can happen, right? Something can just catch fire very, very quickly.
I think the clips of Whatever are more palatable than clips from Fresh and Fit because on Fresh and Fit, it's just like uber chaotic and aggressive. And they just straight up like yell at their guests. Yeah. Like,
and
it's like a
obviously,
fight show.
Brian, his name's Brian, right?
Yeah.
He's like, he's very calm.
Yeah.
Talks. Him and
Very
Lex
calm,
Friedman.
cool, and collected.
Lex Friedman should fill in for him someday and give like a really, really, really like.
Thank you.
See, if Ian was president, this song could play when he comes into a room.
It's party time.
It's my favorite part of the day.
I want to make that my ringtone.
I will send you the file for it if you want to, and then what I want you to do.
Every time I get a text, that's gonna go off.
I want to ask
Please
Carter
no.
for a remix of the Home Depot theme song. That's a Crisis Party sound.
Like,
Think he could manage that?
I can do that. But you know what I want? I want to give it to you as a ringtone, and then I want it to show up in Cast Castle, where like you get calls and like that ringtone comes on.
We can
Like,
make that.
I'm
happen.
down. Is there a lot of cell phone acting in Cast Castle? There's nothing I hate more than bad cell phone acting.
We had Tony Merkel be on the phone for us in a recent episode.
We've had
Rusty
a few.
Cage.
Lauren Southern.
Yep.
She was
Bertman's wife. Yep.
on the phone with Bertman at one point.
Bad cell phone acting should be a crime.
I
in
think
movies
the
and
cell
television.
phone acting is pretty good
Yeah.
on Cast
Yeah, I think
Castle.
we do.
Everyone
pretty good.
keeps
Maybe I'm
claiming
biased,
that Gen
but-
Alpha does this to mimic a phone instead of this, but I haven't
They
seen
do
that.
what? They do this?
No, that's-
that's just what people are claiming, but I've never seen a kid do this
My sister-
to mimic.
When we had flip phones, that's how she talked on the phone.
With a flip phone?
Yeah, she would hold it like this, open, hold it like
You
this,
hold
and then
it
she was
like,
done.
like this. You put the
What?
one finger
She would do
behind
this,
it.
yeah.
But bad.
And then close it,
Did-
but she would open it like that.
Can she
hold
not
it.
operate her fingers?
Now, people, maybe people with sidekicks would do that. Remember the sidekick, you close the phone and you go like this? Yeah, like I'm down. But bad cell phone acting
Nope,
is mainly
just like that. Cupped it.
it's when they answer the phone and the screen is still visible and it's very clearly not a call screen. And you're like, dude, all you have to do is hit the lock button and it'll go away. Your bad cell phone acting is atrocious and you should have your pay docked.
Oh,
for
see,
that.
when you were talking about cell phone acting, I was thinking more like how you sound.
Do you guys do
talking to
actual calls?
nobody.
Did you guys-
We have before.
We have.
It's not real. Well, it depends.
No, we've done one. We have one real call.
Yeah.
And it was on speakerphone,
Yeah.
which was like, we were rushed. But no, like it. I agree with you. I pay attention to things like that.
People never say goodbye on.
I
phone
love that
on
part.
TV.
They just hang up. It's my favorite part of it. Of like,
Yeah.
it's not something that's real in the
They
real
just
world.
mutually agree that the phone call has ended, and they're just like,
done.
It's
click.
every time I talk to my dad on the phone, he just hangs up on me.
That's
without saying
awesome.
Goodbye.
But also it's like I like people who answer their phone by saying their own last name. Dasovic.
Dasovic. That would sound cool for yours, but I don't think Morgan. I don't think that works.
Like
That's
look.
not, that just makes me think of Dexter. That's what everybody does in Dexter. Morgan.
But like, oh, how about this? In the movie, in the Scream franchise, they actually talked on the phone with Roger L. Jackson because his voice is so important to getting that role right. So they would have him off screen in another room. And he was never allowed to meet the actors because his voice is so scary. And he's literally he's a Trader Joe's shopper. He looks like a Trader Joe's, like you'd see him shopping on a Saturday at a Trader Joe's. So you don't want to ruin the illusion
Right.
of this super scary voice by letting you see what the guy looks like. So they'd keep him off screen in another room, have him answer the phone, have him call you on the phone, and then do the scenes that way. That's what you need to do. Good cell phone acting. Very important, guys. All right. So then we do need your guys' opinion. Zuckerberg or Musk?
I'm going Musk.
Now,
That's what I said from the start.
Yeah,
you
I'm
said
saying Musk.
you said
Yeah,
Musk.
I said even if people think he's the underdog, I'm on Team Musk for the fight.
He's
his
got a
birthday
much
today.
more solid-looking core, like and base set of musculature than Zuckerberg does. That I think that no matter how much he's trained, he wouldn't be able to get. And Musk, like a pretty big guy, like 6'2".
Yeah.
I feel like
Mark
he's.
Zuckerberg's like 5'7".
You think Zuckerberg's ever been in a fight before?
Well, he's
Yeah,
competed,
he
so
trained.
technically.
Am I right?
Oh, he
I'm
has.
right. Yeah, I didn't
Oh,
even
I didn't
see
know
it, and
that.
I'm like, exactly
Yep,
right.
6'2". Yep.
6'2" and 5'7".
Yep.
I was 100% right.
So like now that I know that
Zuck
Musk
just has
training,
the age advantage. He's
Yeah.
still
Old
young
man.
and spry.
That-
old man strength is a thing.
True.
he's like, you know what he is? He's fighting for the protection of his many children, and
So
he will
is,
channel that
Musk
protection.
is so strong
Musk
that he
also
threatened
has
his
that,
hair to
like-
grow back.
Yeah.
Musk also has that like
He was bald.
tard strength.
Who,
Can't
Musk?
say the actual word,
Yeah.
but definitely.
But when I look at Zuckerberg, I still think like this is all based on whether Zuckerberg's actually human because I still have questions as to whether he's actually a human
Zuckerberg
being.
strikes me as the type of person who says "pow" when he hits somebody. Like he's like "pow," like that's what he said. Well, gotcha. You know,
I like it. I like it. That is part of what you said earlier. That's a meme. It says like when you're so rich, your hair just grows back.
Yeah.
Because his hair, like he used to be essentially bald on top. It's good stuff. So now that I know that Musk has actually got training, I'm switching my vote. I'm going with Musk.
I was
So.
on Team Musk right from the start.
And think about the people he like actually hangs out with. like there's probably just a stronger culture of masculinity in his circle
Then Zuckerberg.
than Zuckerberg. Yeah.
Probably.
All right. Let's talk about Becky G. This is her reaction to this was actually quite funny. So if you don't know who Becky G is, she is a pop singer, and they called it a microaggression. But basically, she's investing in Angel City FC. It's a football club, I guess soccer here in America, right? And she was at an investor meeting, and she like bumped into this guy who was investing, and he says like, "Oh, do you work here?" Which it's such a Hollywood trope to have the rich elitist white dude bump into somebody and be like, "Oh, what are you, the help?"
Yeah.
He said, okay, I get into the room and this older gentleman bumps into me and spills his beer on me. And he's like, "Do you work here?" He didn't even say sorry. She said instead of getting angry, she loved the moment. I was like, I love this feeling because I can't wait for this bomb that I'm about to drop. No, I'm actually an investor too. And he was like, oh.
Well, I think that's fair, right? At least she didn't cry some type of oppression from this. She's leaning into it. That's what she should do.
This was her girl boss moment.
That's what she should do. Plus, she's smoking hot, so I'm biased here. But yes, this is one of those things where it's like it's very easy for this article to be turned into. You're wrong. This is very easy. It is very easy for this article to be turned into some type of oppression Olympic story about how she's been held back by her looks her whole life, and they didn't do that. So I'm here for it. I'm glad that they did that. All right.
Bumped into her and said, "I'm about to woman bash you."
Yes. I'm not. My new favorite trend I'm seeing is people who just make very, very short video clips. It says, "Ladies, I just wanted to let you know that mansplaining means men explaining," and then that's just the end of the video. It's my favorite part. All right, guys, let us move on. Oh, I do want to give an update on ISOM. I forgot about that. I've been trying to do this every episode. 1,081 books donated. $1,612,315. That is very, very good. They are on track to make a ton of money, do a lot of good things, and it's just, you love to see it, right?
You do.
It's fantastic.
How's he scraping by? I just don't know.
How's he doing it?
I don't know.
Like with the taxes, it's like
I know.
Vanna White only making $3 million a year.
Good thing he's in
right?
Texas.
Yeah, right. All right. So there you go, guys. Just a heads up on that. All right. So, okay. Cute or cringe?
We're doing cute and then cringe.
Cute and then cringe? All right. All right, let's start here first. So the first one you sent me here, this is not a viewer pet, but this is adorable. Let's watch it.
I'm not normally a dog person, but this is just too cute.
I am, and I can't take it.
I have several.
Why can't they just stay like that forever?
I have several like saved videos on my Instagram of all of dog's first awoos. Yes, it's a thing. All right, we got a couple more here. First, this is from Crazy Cat on Twitter. Hashtag cute of the day at popculture_show at Brett Dazovic. Here's Coco. She's a month and a half years old.
Wait, I'm so confused about what I'm looking at right now.
She's on her back.
She's on her back and upside.
Aww.
That is very cute.
What? This is so confusing.
Like
this looks like an AI generated image where you can't tell if anything is actually in the photo.
I mean, I see it. It does look like a Rorschach test, though.
Yeah, I'm very confused.
It's good. It's awesome. It's very, very cute, and it looks like it's sleeping. So, all right, and we got one more. Adorable.
Oh man.
This is Kai. She's a husky mix. She stole the cat's basket. Dog version of it is if I fit, I sit. Yeah. Oh, that is adorable. That is awesome. That. All right, we have 3 cringes. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, first things first. Let's watch the Pink one. Yesterday, we showed a video where Pink had somebody threw their mother's ashes on stage and gave them to Pink.
And she just awkwardly stepped away, and she was like, I don't know how to feel about this. Now they've just given her a giant wheel of cheese.
Yep.
Yeah.
If I get copyrighted for this, I'm going to be pissed.
Yeah, I think it'll be fine.
She said, I love you.
Like, she took the cheese home and... I don't know. I wouldn't trust that cheese.
You don't take, like, if you're a celebrity, you don't take anything edible because you don't want somebody to poison you.
What is happening to live shows, though, right now?
It's just people getting attacked, people getting things thrown at them. We had BB Rexa get hit in the head with a phone. We had...
At least this isn't assault.
Stage dive.
I'm still stuck on somebody throwing their dead mother's ashes on stage.
Yeah.
She was like, is this your mom? I don't know how to feel about this. And
Wait,
then she just walked
Was
away.
it like they passed an urn and scooted it over, or
It
was
looked
it?
more like it was a Ziploc
It was like a Ziploc bag.
Which is even worse
Well,
because
that's
then it looks like
what's in the urn usually. But,
Yeah, I know, but I at first I was just imagining someone just like dumping a dustpan
Yeah.
of ashes.
there's just like throwing an urn and then it breaks everywhere.
You weren't sure that this qualified as cringe, though.
Wait, what?
This is not the one you thought. You thought this might not
Give
be
me that
cringe.
cheese.
No, there's another one I
Okay.
wasn't sure if it was cringe
All
because
right.
it has a cute dog in it.
All right, here we go. We got another one here. This is from Ian. Oh, Ian Miles Chong posted this. I've seen this video. This video is awful, guys. The cringe is heavy with this one.
Naked? You looking to get naked or no?
Am I looking to get what?
Get naked?
Just fuck off, alright?
You don't want to
Get out of my
get
face.
you don't want to get naked? Is that not what you're here for? Whoa! Don't touch him.
Fuck you.
Don't touch me.
You put this up on
We'll just get naked together or something. Dude, let's just get naked, me and you, smoothie, you and I. Terrible, actually. I just got assaulted.
Back it up. I need you to go because what you guys
Don't do it.
Excuse me.
Don't do it. Don't do
Please
it.
don't. Hey.
No.
Sir?
Naked? No
Handle it,
pushy.
please.
You looking to get naked? Or?
You love when they cry wolf after they are harassing someone and they get assaulted.
That's not how you respond. That's not how you handle those situations. You have to like lean into it and make it even more uncomfortable for them.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like you have to like lean into it.
what would you
Like,
say?
I have no idea, but it's not. You don't do it by being like overtly confrontational with them because they want you to do that.
Wouldn't that be considered sexual harassment?
Yeah, well, they're
Yes.
dudes, so they'd just be like, they're dudes. That can't happen to dudes. Sorry.
I don't know.
This is another
That
one of
just
those
felt like
broccoli head zoomers.
Nothing to me.
Yeah.
That was empty calories.
Yep.
I think like I'm not encouraging this, but sometimes it seems like these people like deserve to get socked in the face.
Well, I mean, it's
Had
in a
to
lot
think
of
about
ways-
how to
These
word
streamers
that.
are just, they're out of control and like I don't know what consequences will stop them after Mizzy.
You know what I like when they go up to the people in the store and they're like, "Do you want $100 or to give out 1,000 to everybody else?"
Or no, it's
That's
it's
nice.
like, do you want
I would say
$10 or double it and give it to the next person?
Yeah, stuff like that. Like
You-
if you're gonna do that, make it positive and helpful to people. Don't go ask someone to get naked. What's wrong with you?
It's just less creative.
Yeah.
It's just less creative.
If I give everyone else 1,000, they better be chipping into my funds.
I think when they choose that
Yeah.
option, they end up giving them more at the end.
Yeah.
All right, and you had one more here that you said was maybe cringe. This one, right?
No, actually, the other one had a dog in it.
Well, let's save that dog one for tomorrow. Let's watch
Okay.
this one. All right.
How?
I don't really know it.
So,
Do Americans have culture?
No.
How?
I don't really know enough.
What do you mean by that? In what way though?
Anytime you see like these types of interviews on TikTok or social media in general, and they get asked a question, they're always a bit like, "Hmm?"
Oh.
And it's like the simplest thing.
So can I give you a super simple quiz then? Since you rose in America. Okay, what's the biggest state?
Nevada? Did I get it?
Yes.
Citizens of culture.
What's the smallest state?
Is Mississippi a state?
No.
Did I
No,
get that
freaking.
right?
How?
Did I get it right?
No.
I love
Are
how
you
he
cheating?
doesn't even correct her.
No one's ever got 3.
That's 4, by the way, not 3. 4.
Who was the U.S.'s first president?
Oh,
Fool me, we can't get fooled again.
Kennedy?
George Kennedy.
dude, you can't like that. Almost sounds staged to me.
No,
Like,
it's real.
You can't be that dumb.
I like this content because I'm a Europhobe.
She I can't with these people, right? Like also remember those street interviews, they go out of their way to find like the worst. It's always heavily curated. Like there's 100 interviews with people that are very normal and then they just find the worst ones.
I doubt that Europeans know the biggest and smallest states, though.
Well, no, nor should they, right? Like why would they care?
Well, if they live here.
No. Oh, was it? I mean, I guess if it takes place here, she's moved here now. Yeah. All right, guys, let's move on. Let's get started first because I do want to talk about the casting of Superman. This is very, very interesting because I thought it was going to take longer to get through the casting process. Did you feel that way too? Like they were going to take their time with this?
I didn't think they were going to take their time. I just think that I thought they were going to do like what they're doing with Fantastic Four, where they're like,
This guy,
just to
yeah.
get the hype out there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it says Superman Legacy. James Gunn taps David Cornsweet and Rachel Brosnahan to play Clark Kent and Lois Lane in the DC Studios film. The most interesting thing I thought about this, I posted on Twitter earlier, was like all the articles outside of this one from Deadline, which changed the picture after the fact, seem to go out of their way to find the worst possible photos
Find like
of this
the
guy.
most metrosexual looking photos of David Cornsweet possible.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't help that he actually does look like kind of metrosexual.
Well, here's the thing. Dude is 6'4". He's tall enough to play Superman. He's got the jaw to play Superman.
But he's just Walmart version Henry Cavill. And what people wanted was Henry Cavill, so you can't compete with that.
I've got this here. Serenko Productions sent me this on Twitter earlier. Yes, he is very much Kirkland brand Henry Cavill in many, many ways. But he's also younger and he's cheaper. He doesn't cost as much per film.
I still thought Tom Brittney would have been a better choice. Or we were talking about Glenn Powell or Miles Teller.
I like this casting the more I see it, especially considering it's going to give him time to bulk up. He's going to have to put on a lot of muscle.
Also, am I wrong that Rachel Brosnan looks like Evan Rachel Wood?
I don't.
It does, yes.
Like
super. And also, we've gotten a comparison to Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks.
Yep.
We got a $20 one from Granticus. He said they should cast Seamus being Superman and Mary being. You mean Lois, not Louis. Seamus is already a cartoonist and he is an alien as well. Mary is also already a journalist. Seems like a perfect combo. I will not stand for being slandered as a journalist on this show. I would never call myself that.
Yeah, commentator, not journalist.
No,
so,
anything but that.
Look, they actually what I really do believe is because the Deadline had a very different photo of him up earlier, and I guarantee you his publicist called these outlets and was like, "Dude, you gotta change the photo. You gotta help the people visualize what it's gonna look like to see this dude in this role."
He looks like he works at an Apple store.
I don't know about that. I wouldn't go that far. Apparently, she was the favorite. I was watching a podcast earlier. They were talking about. Apparently, she was who they wanted for that role, and it was basically her role to lose. Like all she had to do was do good at the audition, and they were going to give her that role anyways. Which is interesting because usually for a role like this, you would screen test extensively with the actors to make sure they have good chemistry.
Well, they screen tested with a couple other women, Emma Mackey included.
Yes, but you'd think they'd want to do more screen tests to make sure the chemistry's there between the actors.
Someone said that Rachel Brosnan is too old to play Lois Lane, but I looked at their ages.
She's 32.
Yeah, she's 32. David Cornsweet is 29.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're at the outset of it, but I think they're fine there, right? Also, if you didn't know, she's Kate Spade's niece. Handbag designer.
your Aunt Rachel.
Yeah. Handbag designer Kate Spade. That's her niece. So who was married to David Spade's brother.
So she was his sister-in-law.
Yes. So
I didn't know that before.
Yeah. So it's
Nepo baby alert.
That's what happens in Hollywood. I've never watched.
Rooney and Kate Mara are descended from the Steelers owners and the Rooney family.
Oh, okay.
They're all Nepo babies. Huh?
The I've never seen The Marvelous Miss Maisel, but I have seen her in House of Cards. Yeah. She's plenty good enough to do the role. I think she'll be fine with that. She's going to have to be able to do boss, but not boss babe, meaning that she's a journalist. She's very good at her job. Clark Kent is in a lot of ways, she's dismissive of him in early Superman, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how they handle that when they produce this movie. I'm not sure. I don't know if I don't think James Gunn is the guy to make this movie, personally. Yeah. I don't feel like his sense of humor works for Clark Kent, but
maybe he's going to try to take it more seriously.
He's good at the character moments. James Gunn does great with character development, but his sense of humor usually leaves a lot to be desired for me when it comes, not in general. I love his version of the Suicide Squad. I loved the first Guardians movie, but in general, it doesn't seem like it fits with Superman, but I could be wrong.
That's what to your point about, you would think they want more screen testing. He seems like the kind of guy who's I've already got this person in mind. I know this person. I know what this person's like.
Yeah.
So maybe he's I've worked with this person, her specifically, or just has an idea of exactly what he's going for, and he saw it in something else she did.
So I decided to pull up there was a bunch of photos of this guy and see if there's any of these that actually look more like Superman than others. That one's not bad. Oddly enough, him with facial hair seems to be the one that has the most actual look for him, where he actually looks the most on point, but obviously Superman doesn't have that. So, and of course it went away. We lost it here. Yeah, that's I would have to scroll back and find it again. No, they might have gotten rid of the article.
Oh,
they might have pulled
scrubbing evidence.
They might have pulled it.
Nicholas Hoult was also in consideration for Superman.
And now what they're saying is he could be in the running for Lex Luthor.
Oh, for Lex Luthor.
He was originally supposed to be cast or up for casting as Lex Luthor. Yeah. They're also considering the Skarsgårds.
He was up for Batman, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Or no, maybe it was Batman that I'm thinking of. But the Skarsgårds could be up for Lex Luthor. Also, they were saying Bradley Cooper maybe. because Bradley Cooper works with James Gunn
Yeah.
quite a bit. I could see that.
I can see that.
Like him with the shaved head and the I could see.
He
him
can
trying
go
to pull
pretty
that off.
arch too.
Yeah.
So if they wanted him to be pretty crazy.
The other one they listed was like maybe Batista, like as like because
Oh.
they're using Michael Cudlitz as Lex Luthor on Superman and Lois right now, which gives you a different look at what the character looks like, right? So who would you cast as Lex?
As Lex Luthor, I mean, that's a great question. I wouldn't go John Cryer like that, like Supergirl went, but that's tough, man. I think I would need a second to think about what I would want to do. I also want to know, like, at what point in Lex Luthordom is he?
Well, they're doing young Superman,
Right.
so like.
But like, is he like an up and coming businessman, or is he already like friends with the mayor?
I'm still
governor.
working my way through Smallville, and it's amazing how good Michael Rosenbaum is in that.
You know, it
role.
wouldn't be bad. I generally don't like. I generally like him more as a character actor, but Jack Courtney.
Yeah, I mean, as Lex, but then they're reusing an actor from previous DC. I'd rather
do that in Marvel all the time, where somebody plays the same character in the next movie or a different character in the next movie.
I would rather they just go away from it and get all new actors. There's plenty of actors working today. There's a whole Screen Actors Guild looking to strike that they could do for that. Like they don't need to. They don't need to go with the same
Just
people
go
for all that.
look down the list of all the people striking.
People in the chat are saying Jeff Bezos. Yeah, he's
Jeff
got the bald
Bezos,
head.
yeah.
He could actually do that, right? Look, Skarsgård would probably be a good example.
Bill
as well.
Skarsgård or Alec?
Both of them. They said
Wait, there's
both
two of them?
Yep.
There's three of them.
Wait, who's the third one?
Olaf, I think.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and then their dad also. So.
Who's the one
Stellan
in the
Skarsgård.
movie that we just watched? Okay.
Yeah.
Is he like the bigger one?
No.
Oh.
No. So Alexander Skarsgård is like he's in True Blood. He's
Okay.
Then their dad is like Bootstrap Bill in Pirates of the Caribbean, and then the other one is mostly still working in Sweden, I believe.
Olaf.
Olaf, I believe.
That's fitting for him.
Well, with a name like Olaf,
Yeah.
you're
You
gonna
gotta
continue.
stay.
You're gonna continue
You
I think it's
stay over
Olaf.
there.
to work in Sweden, right? So, and from what I understand, they're still doing the Val-Zod the Black Superman Val-Zod, Calvin Ellis Superman with Ta-Nehisi Coates. Whether that actually comes to
Gustav.
pass. Oh, is it Gustav?
Yeah.
That's
Olaf.
Yeah.
that's an amazing name for
Gustav Skarsgård. Yeah.
Gustav. Well, I don't. Do you know any Gustavs?
No.
The only
don't.
Gustav I can think of in a movie even was
I have a friend whose last name is
Gustav.
Gustafsson.
There was the bad guy in the last Pierce Brosnan Bond movie was Gustav Graves.
That's a good name.
That's just,
I like the alliteration.
yes,
Yeah.
that's, bad guys. You got to alliterate them. I just
Parker.
don't know if I think that this is going to work under James Gunn, but I'm willing to be impressed. So, is there somebody, if you could have picked a director that you would have rather had do it than James Gunn? Is there somebody you
Yes.
think of?
His name is. I'm blanking on his name now. He's Tom Cruise's guy.
Oh, Christopher McQuarrie.
Christopher McQuarrie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he would
Yeah.
have been good. Christopher McQuarrie or Chris McKay.
Okay.
Chris McKay.
Peter McKay?
No, Chris McKay.
Chris McKay.
The guy who did. Is it Chris McKay that did Bumblebee?
That was Peter McKay.
That was Peter McKay.
I could be wrong about that. Let's leave. Jamie, look that up.
Wish we had a Jamie.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, wouldn't that be fantastic? But yeah, like so I
Travis
think,
Knight.
I
Chris
think
McKay is
Christopher McQuarrie-
Lego Batman.
Okay, I think Christopher McQuarrie would be good
Yeah,
at it, but I
Travis
don't know if
Knight.
he would want to work under that. He's
Travis
gotten
Knight.
Christopher McQuarrie's been able to give a lot of free reign by Paramount to do what he wants with his
Yeah.
movies.
Well, he is a lot like other in my opinion, he's Christopher Nolan light.
Really?
Yeah.
Explain that.
Well, have you watched his movies that he's kind of jacks his style. He has a different tonality. He's better with characters than I think Christopher Nolan is. But like stylistically, what was the Fallout? Fallout is The Dark Knight.
Mission Impossible Fallout?
Yeah, it's The Dark Knight.
I
It
love
just
that movie.
straight up stole the what am I trying to say? The like escape scenes, and it's The Dark Knight, and just straight up.
On the roof of the skyscraper and everything.
Well,
like
like
that,
no,
out
when
of
they
the-
like
out of the
drive
plane.
the truck, like crush it out of the thing to escape with
Yeah.
him, and stuff. It's.
I like McQuarrie.
I do too.
I like- he's-
I'm not. If you're gonna steal from the best.
Yeah.
But it does feel like The Dark Knight, and Sam Mendes does the same thing where he steals another director's style for a movie. But no, I think Travis Knight. And the reason I would say Travis Knight is because did you see Bumblebee?
Yeah.
It has what a Superman movie should have, where it's not cynical, it's not corny, it just nails.
it
like,
rides the line to corny,
Yeah.
but doesn't quite go there.
Right, which is what you have to
good.
do with Superman.
Which is interesting too, because I remember the trailer being. I felt like the trailer did that perfectly, where it felt not hopeful, but it took itself just seriously enough that it's fun, but it's not depressing.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're probably right about that. I don't know. Well,
Felt the same way about Kubo and the Two Strings, which was his movie before that.
I was like, I didn't know Travis Knight directed, but I was thinking of Christina Hodson is the one who wrote it.
Yes.
Not directed. So who would you cast for Batman then?
Oh man, Jensen
Jensen
Ackles,
Ackles.
100%. Yeah. What a missed opportunity if you don't.
They can still do
The
it.
same with Joel. Like, Pedro Pascal's great, but Jensen Ackles.
Is he
feels
really
alone.
great? Is he really though?
Well, okay, he has
don't like
been
him.
great in the past.
Is he?
The Red Viper was great, but like, Jensen Ackles would have just nailed life. Just fits the role.
Plus, he's wanted that role for a long time, and he's campaigned for it.
Yeah. For which one?
For Batman.
Oh yeah. I mean, he's played him in voice
Animated,
Yeah,
but I'm saying, but he's saying like he's one of those actors who can go from animated to screen because
Yes.
he was a screen actor first.
Yes. Yeah, and he's pushing 50 now, right?
Is he?
Yeah, he's like.
Oh my gosh, is he really that old? I guess because he was in Dark Angel, which came out in like 2000, and he was
Yeah.
already in his mid-20s.
What is he, like 47?
He's got it. I guess he is about that old, right?
But still could play 35.
Jensen. Yeah, I think you're right. Hold on. 78. Yeah. No, he's mid 40s.
Mid 40s.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
45.
I thought you meant he was 78
Yeah,
years
for a
old.
second I was like, wow.
Born in 78.
Impressive.
All right. We got some super chats there.
Yes. J-Spot said, Superman and Lois Lane get with the times.
Lois Lane is what
Yeah,
they'll end
gender
up doing.
swap Lois.
Yep.
Urashima Otaru said, Clark, not enough muscle. Lois looks too old for him.
This is the thing. He's gonna have a lot of time to put the muscle on. That's
He
going
can
to
bulk
be
up, but she cannot get any younger. So.
Yeah, but here's the thing. You're also looking at pictures of them out in the wild. When you're on set, they can light you certain ways and change what you look like very, very easily. Whether they needed to actually do that is whether they could have just hired somebody younger. But
The other thing is, if he bulks up, he's going to look way older. Like,
Yeah.
he's going to look older.
Yep. Plus, remember, everybody hated Michael Keaton when he was originally cast as Batman. Nobody believed that Heath Ledger could play the Joker. There's tons of examples of it. Oh, the other thing I was going to mention about this, I kind of love it. I kind of love the whole concept of the whole conflict of what was going on with this, because it just feels nice to not have to hear people argue about whether they're the right race or gender to play a character. Like, it's just people being like, no, he's a dork. He can't play that character. I like that. I like the fact that it didn't have to become...
But you were surprised that Lois Lane wasn't race swapped.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought we were getting racially ambiguous Lois Lane for sure. Like that's. I thought we would have gotten like a Zoe Kravitz type to play Lois Lane. Maybe not her. Obviously, she's probably too exotic.
Charlene McKenna? Are you familiar?
Yeah, like somebody like that. Like they would have done something that was less pale.
Perturbed Alpaca said, F-F-D, F-F-F. I'm done saying the F word for the day. I got it out of my system. Okay.
And there's a $20 one there from Francisco Sanchez Jr.
Oh, come on, Brett. Let's be honest. There is only one right answer for a Superman movie. Harry Styles starring, Olivia Wilde directing, Florence Pugh as Lois. Imagine how much content you guys can get.
I can't stand Florence Pugh.
I don't like that he just moved past Timothy Chalamet.
Why
for
don't you like
Superman,
Florence Pugh?
She doesn't work for me. Not a huge fan of her work. Just not my cup of tea. But other people seem to like. I guess she didn't grab me in Marvel, so it's like if you can't grab me in that role, which is
She can't
literally
grope
designed
you
for.
in that role.
It's designed for everybody, right? You're just like that should appeal to everyone. And I didn't like any of Midsummer or anything like that.
I thought
so.
she was good in Midsummer, but I thought the
I
movie
thought
was
the
hot
acting
garbage.
was good on her part, but the movie was not great.
If the movie, I've said
That
this
movie
1,000
is
times,
cursed,
but if
so
the movie
everyone
was
who
just the
watches
first
it is
act
cursed.
and stretched out over 3 acts, I would have loved it.
The first act, like
Of Midsommar, if it was about her dealing with her depressed
the
sister,
family
yeah,
and-
that would have been
yeah.
awesome. But
it got weird really fast.
All right, let's do 2 more.
By the way, I was still waiting on Elliot Page getting announced.
Oh
as
yeah,
Superman.
yeah. I mean that would have been
So that's a big
fantastic. You
disappointment.
could have gotten that in Kim Petras.
Well,
as
Elliot
Lois.
Page is on the list of the
Strikers.
SAG actors striking.
Yep.
So,
Corey Anderson said, "We can say beep. I just really excited. That is the PCC t-shirt. Wait, what?
Oh, that I asked if we could say the F-bomb. I got apparently
You got shut down.
apparently not.
Brooke
though.
Rosso Forever said, Mary, great vibes with Chrissy Mayer last night. I thought maybe she would think your takes were too extreme, but that was not the case. Yeah, I proposed that we spend most of that time talking about hoes on OnlyFans, and that's just what happened to be on my mind that day. And I know that she's friends with a lot of sex workers and stuff like that, so she feels... I thought she would feel like indifferent about it, but we actually had a lot more in common on that subject than I thought we would. So it was a good discussion.
All right. Well, are you going to be going back on there again?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Excellent.
she's really nice.
All right, guys, let's move on, shall we? Let's talk about Demi Lovato. Mary, tell us what's going on with Demi Lovato and the pro-abortion song Swine.
Yeah, Demi Lovato has put out a song called Swine, which is her pro-abortion anthem, and it came out on the year anniversary of the overturning of Roe v. Wade. So she's mourning the loss of Roe v. Wade. And in the music video, she is literally wearing a Handmaid's Tale style red cloak and yelling at a table of old white men who are signing off her rights to abort her child at 9 months. And guys, it's the Handmaid's Tale is here. We're living in a nightmare reality where women can't kill their children when they're halfway out the canal.
And comparing banning Bibles to
yeah, she made
killing
a bizarre
babies.
reference in her lyrics to like banning abortion is the equivalent of banning the Bible. She said, "Picture your faith, imagine your God, and even your holy Bible is suddenly banned. Do you understand? Doesn't that sound entitled? It's your book, but it's my survival."
Well, luckily, the Constitution protects people's rights to practice religion, but it doesn't
there's
To me,
protect
it's
the
an
right to
admission.
abortion.
Wait, what?
Like, I mean, it's child sacrifice. It is their religion.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, as she's yelling at this group of old white men, there is a jury of sorts behind her of drag queens and women with buzz cuts cheering her on and screaming at the camera like raging harpies. And I looked at the comments, and they're all like... like people arguing. One person said this is absolutely crazy, and then one reply said, only because people aren't used to other people standing up for their rights. Birthing people.
Oh, God.
Demi Lovato also posted on her Instagram an explanation of why she put this song out. She said, "It's been 1 year since the Supreme Court's decision to dismantle the constitutional right to a safe abortion. And although the path forward will be challenging," this sounds like the intro sequence to Avatar: The Last Airbender, "we must continue to be united in our fight for reproductive justice. I created Swine to amplify the voices of those who advocate for choice and bodily autonomy. I want this song to empower not only the birthing people of this country, but everyone who stands up for equality to embrace their agency and fight for a world where every person's right to make decisions about their own body is honored." And she is, for the next year, going to be donating all the proceeds from this song to pro-choice organizations and also to her own Demi Lovato Foundation.
Did she think that this was going to be This Is America?
Yes.
Yeah.
Also, for me, like, This Is America totally fell flat. Like,
Yeah,
I
no,
didn't
but it
think that
did
was,
have impact with people. Like it.
Sure, but it was just like, bro, it's not that deep.
Yeah, no, no, I agree with you, obviously, but
What's-
it did
what's
have an
This Is
impact.
America?
It was Childish Gambino.
Song about racism.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But the video was massively successful. Like
We were just talking about Eminem's "We as Americans" and "White America" yesterday, and like, politically impactful songs are just a thing of the past. I don't know if any of you guys remember Demi Lovato's "Commander in Chief" from 2020.
We as Americans wasn't even a U.S. release. They only released that in the U.K. because he talks about bad stuff happening to elected officials in that song.
Oh, okay, interesting.
I know some people don't like the conservative rappers, but I think it's safe to say that Bryson Gray's music is a lot better than this song.
It's also like
it's
Swine,
not a great song.
I've listened to the song a couple times now. It's not a good song. It's not even catchy. Like, it would be one thing if I were like listening to it to hate watch, and then I like got annoyed realizing that it's well made and like catchy, and I would be like kind of like bopping my head to it, but it's actually ass, and she's a good singer. She like re-released a couple rock versions of some of her other hits. One of them was Heart Attack, and that was really good, but this was just not it. And then Planned Parenthood posted a press release about it. They are not one of the organizations getting proceeds from the song. So they're kind of like the desperate ex-girlfriend who's like posting about it like, congrats, I'm so happy for you. But their caption said, with constant attacks on sexual and reproductive health care, we are so grateful to artists like Demi Lovato, who is bold, courageous, and not afraid to speak through her art in support of bodily autonomy. And then all of the comments were like, you're misgendering they.
Oh, gosh. They
always used the wrong pronouns as they were applauding Demi Lovato for
the
her
language they use, too,
song.
like calling it healthcare or like bodily autonomy.
I'm just tired of talking about it. Like, we talked about this when Roe v. Wade got overturned because so many pop stars were like making performative speeches about it on stage. And like it just makes me think of like Billie Eilish being like, fuck Brett Kavanaugh. I got my last F word in there. Like, you're just dorky and you're not letting your career be just about like talent. You're hitching your wagon to a political message, and it's not interesting. And even the people that support this message still don't even like Demi Lovato because she's problematic.
Wait, didn't Demi Lovato recently like revoke the they them thing?
Yeah, because it was just so exhausting to correct everyone all the time on the correct pronouns. And she thinks that also on government documents she should be able to identify as non-binary.
I did like the articles that all like mistook the quote on purpose that said like she finds them exhausting. I think we even did that, where it makes it seem like she's saying something bad about it.
It's just sad that like Demi Lovato is another one of these former child stars that was on Disney and had this kind of actually at least nominally Christian public image. Selena Gomez the same way. She was like literally raised in a Catholic
Miley Cyrus
household.
Not even nominally, like
yeah. And even if they feel a certain way about abortion or any of these social issues privately, they're still too cowardly to come out and say it. Like, I bet there are a lot of vocally pro-choice celebrities who in their private lives are not pro-abortion at all.
Yeah. Didn't even Taylor Swift say something about like, as a Christian you should be pro-abortion?
When did she say that?
Was that, Brett, do you remember that?
That sounds extremely familiar.
Was that like after her
saw
2020 political awakening or before?
Wesley, can you research this? I swear I saw an article, but I don't want to say it if it's not accurate.
We're like past the point in the culture where you even need to qualify those statements with as a Christian, because no one wants to hear about like public figures' faith at all. Like,
yeah,
unless
they're twisting it into something that it isn't at all.
Taylor Swift said real Christianity is pro-LGBT and pro-abortion.
I think I follow
thanks for telling us, Taylor. You're the new pope.
I follow like pro-life Twitter pages that post news articles about this, and I think I saw that on one of those.
We got one from Deuce Boogaloo. He said, wanted to point out Donald Glover never said what This Is America is about, but that's open to interpret. I could easily make the case the song is about the degeneration of black culture rather than racism or gun control. Okay, but we know what it's about. Like, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out what This Is America was talking about.
It can also be about multiple things at once.
What year was that?
2016, right?
Okay.
2017?
Yeah.
That's the better route to do it anyways.
Maybe
to
2018.
not beat you over the head with what it's actually about, but to let you make up the mind for yourself, even if the video is too on the nose, to actually believe that he's not telling you what it's supposed to be referencing.
And I also just think that, like, with Demi Lovato's recent album called Holy F, where she's, like, on the album cover on this, like, dirty mattress that's shaped like a crucifix, she's, like, openly blaspheming at this point. You're not provocative if you are fitting society's expectations of you as a pop star. Like, this is expected now, and Kim Petras is part of that, Sam Smith is part of that. It would be more subversive or provocative to affirm religious values or traditional values.
Who was it who did that recently? The former like model who's like, I'm embracing my Christian values. We were talking about it. It wasn't Amber Rose.
Wait, like, was it Black China?
Was it Black China? I
Is
think it was
that-
Black
Oh,
China.
maybe, yeah, because she got her the cheek implants taken out.
Yeah,
Got
but she is like.
Why
has
do I
kids
know
and, yeah.
this? Like,
But
you might have been
see,
on the show.
I think I
understand
was,
what you're
but-
saying, but I see it more as like a secondary subversive tactic to where this is there
I think
are
that
real-
Black China is a grift.
No, I'm talking about like Demi Lovato and Sam Smith and like it's make a joke of what people like, I guess me, think about Hollywood, that there's really dark stuff going on. Like, oh yeah, it's really dark. We dress up like the devil sometimes, and it's kind of making a novelty out of it. So if you poison the well, people are like, oh, that's all.
It's
hogwash.
like the chants about like, we're here, we're queer, and we're coming for your children. Obviously for them, that's an inside joke where they're like, haha, the stupid conservatives really think that we're coming after their children. But they're not in touch enough with where the culture is at to understand that we're not in the mood to joke about that.
Yeah.
Like, we've had enough of joking about that because it's seriously happening.
Right.
Yeah, there's too much of like the actual grooming and like the stuff being pushed in schools on kids to joke about it.
Imagine you were like, and then they were out there screaming, "We're coming for your children," trying to make some kind of point.
Yeah.
That would be their version of the right's version of talking about that with them.
One comment said, if Demi has a kid, her kid's way of revolting will be to go to church.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the Babylon Bee and J.P. Sears did a skit about that recently with Brett Cooper, where he's like she comes out as Christian to her family, and they're just like, it's like coming out as a Christian to my liberal family. And it's like
That's
they're like,
teenage rebellion now.
yeah. I mean that's it is kind of like the less over, like the less hyperbolic version of saying conservatism is the new punk rock, which I always thought was cheesy sounding anyways. But in a lot of ways, like you will be looked back on as part of the counterculture here because everything that is mainstream is now so amorphous and bland but yet somehow they all still believe that they're part of some type of rebellious movement, as if laying on a bed shaped like a crucifix in some type of provocative position is somehow unique to the time period, and as if the 80s didn't happen, as if there wasn't already a satanic panic a couple of decades ago.
It feels like we're at a breaking point in like they have felt like the counterculture for so long that now that it has become the more dominant thing, at least in media, that the unsustainability of such lifestyles is what's causing this massive breakdown to where they're just in a denial about it. That like
you think that's what it is? You think it's like they're like, see, I never give them that, like, I'd never give them that benefit of the doubt, like denial. I always think that they're just too stupid to understand that they haven't caught on yet. That they actually
both things
do
can be
feel
true
like
at once.
that they think that they literally don't understand that like what you are now. It's like when Mountain Dew and Coca-Cola and all of these companies are the ones supporting you.
Yeah.
You can't see yourself any other way than
Well,
as
it's the
some
same
type
way
of resistance
in a
person.
moral in like the moral realm that it is like the economic realm, where people that are like champagne socialists or just ignorant socialists benefit from the excesses of capitalism so that they can live that life until it all breaks down, and then you no longer have the luxury to believe what it is you believe. You know what I mean? Like when there's no longer a very affluent society for you to live off very easy and claim to be a socialist. The same way, if you're in a society that is extremely like the moral fiber is intact, it gives you the ability to be that counterculture icon and support yourself.
Yeah.
But once the society becomes that, it's Weimar Republic, it all falls apart, and then everybody reverts back to like traditional values to have some sort of stability in their life. It's just all of those things depend on the structure and foundation of common sense, honestly.
As I was looking into this for today, I also saw another articles of Demi Lovato saying that young people are hungry for a revival of emo music and emo culture, which is why she's leaning into this like rock persona that she had during like the start of her music career. But then when I see this, I'm like, I'm gonna actually go over here and listen to Flyleaf and like mind my own Christian emo business.
I mean, or if you, depending on how much self-respect you have, you could listen to Machine Gun Kelly.
Yeah, like she's
Trailer Park emo.
It's not really hitting the mark for me. Another comment said, these comments are the reasons why I believe from now on you need to have a certification to have a baby. And the reply said, I honestly support this. If anti-choicers actually cared about lives, they would back this up instead of forcing people to be parents. We're quickly approaching like full support for a Chinese one-child policy. Genuinely. Like these people are actual eugenicists.
Well,
and on what basis would someone be granted a certification to have a child anyway? If they're, pro LGBT enough, or else you're going to get your kid taken away by the state.
Planned Parenthood founded by a eugenicist?
Margaret Sanger.
Well, yes.
I think that's just couched in a lot of nihilism for a lot of these people. It's like there's it's funny. I talk a lot about. There's nihilist propaganda and there's heavy, overly positive propaganda, and they're both kind of bad for you in that, like, it's the stories that you see. It's like good news movement, and I love all these stories that are like, it's ridiculously positive, but then it gives you a false idea of what the world's actually like, right? But then there's also extremely nihilist propaganda on social media that basically tells you, like, what does it matter if you have a kid? You're not going to be able to make enough money to take care of your child anyways because the minimum wage hasn't been raised in a decade, and capitalist industries are destroying America. Let me go listen to this Demi Lovato song.
There's this like pervasive idea that the birth rates are dropping because people are freer than they've ever been to live for themselves and find their own meaning and self-actualize, when in reality it's because they feel paralyzed and that they can't have a family even if they did want to.
That's a valid,
and it's the same thing for
argument.
like why is Gen Z having less sex than previous generations? It's not because they have like some kind of moral conviction about it. It's because they, for whatever reason, feel like they can't, or they're not as socially connected as they would have been in a previous generation.
That and gender roles have gotten extremely confused. Me Too turned everybody scared of interacting with the opposite sex in any way that could be misconstrued in any way, shape, or form. There's a ton of reasons that go into that. I also don't know if the stats on that bear out that it's just men that are having less sex in Gen Z, or if it's both of them. But, a lot of it is inspired by a culture in Hollywood where it's both unbelievably hypersexualized, but also unbelievably unsexy in a lot of ways. Like in what they do promote tends to just be more from the vile mind of somebody like a Sam Levinson, where it's not promoting positive sexuality, not even in a secular positive sexuality of somebody who's not religious and doesn't mind sex before marriage, right? Like, we're not talking about healthy relationships between characters on a show where they're just a couple that's together, and sure, there's other struggles that make up the brunt of the conflict for the television show, but you don't even see a lot of positive examples of that in television and movies. And I'm not talking about from a religious perspective. I'm just saying healthy sexual relationships between couples. Like, it seems like most of what's focused on is either vile for the simple fact of being vile, or it's non-existent. So
I think a lot of people may not have like witnessed healthy examples of that growing up too.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people's parents don't have a stable relationship or relationship at all.
Well, you can blame that on the people that choose to go into Hollywood being art nerds, and maybe the art in a lot of ways ends up being a coping mechanism for a bad home life, or at the very least, sometimes it's just about escaping. It's still the trope, right, of escaping the conservative religious home to go move out to Hollywood and live out your dream.
Katy Perry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Demi Lovato has been very publicly mentally disturbed, so I don't think we should take anything she does or says seriously at this point.
If anyone ever went by they, them, I think the things they say should just be disregarded for the most part.
Opinion discarded.
Let's go super chats.
Corey Anderson said, YouTube wouldn't let me type beep.
Well, that's not nice.
Other people were able to. Shane H. Wilder said, Mary, such language, tisk tisk. Tisk tisk. I'm kidding. I really don't give a beep. LOL. the bad language. I've become a bad example. I'm influencing you guys. Disco Jensen said, it all comes back to writing and interest. People pay good money for the things that have value. The people striking should be scared.
Yep.
Quite Blackpilled said, no Lex Friedman talk without Dane. That's his dude.
That is absolutely true.
Dane is, of course, the biggest Lex Friedman fan at this company.
He loves that guy.
Yeah.
All right, let's hold off. Let's talk about, let's move on. Let's talk about Kim Petras.
Yes. So Kim Petras recently did an interview where she talked about basically making music that empowers sex workers and endorsed hormone therapy for children. And not a lot of people know this, but Kim Petras is transgender and transitioned as one of the first minors allowed to undergo hormone therapy in Germany at 12 years old. And here's what this article from Entertainment Weekly said. Petras gets even more emotional talking about the recent attacks on the LGBTQ plus community, especially trans people, stoked by politicians who are using fear to gin up support for their campaigns. Quote, I'm extremely alarmed by it. Trans people have always been used to outrage people, but you have to remember that we're only 1% of the population. When I was a trans kid, everyone would call me crazy, but it wasn't so publicly demonized. It's scary for all of us who just want to live a normal life. This is ironic coming from somebody who was raised by Munchausen's by proxy parents that made you into a child activist in the media from the age of like under 12. You can't tell me that that was something you chose for yourself.
Sounds like a pretty normal life, yeah.
Yeah, and then on the subject of, you know, minors taking hormone therapy for gender transition, this is what Kim Petras had to say. Though hormones were essential for me, she doesn't necessarily want to promote them. Every person is different and needs different things. There isn't a specific way to be trans. You have to figure that out for yourself. But I do know that they shouldn't ban hormone therapy. It's just such a dishonest way to dodge the question, because this is really just a very poorly hidden endorsement of hormone therapy for children. Because if you're saying that it worked for you, well, good for you, but what about the people for whom it doesn't work and they have an irreversible change to their biology forever?
That they cannot consent to.
Also, in the very first paragraph of this article, this is what it said. Over the past year, Kim Petras has had to grapple with the fact that the thing she's most wanted for her entire life has also filled her with the most dread. Quote, I was so incredibly scared that if I ever had a really big hit, that people were going to say things like, her left jawbone looks male, so we can tell that she's a man. It says a lot about your mindset if that's all you can think about, instead of people valuing you for your musical talent. Quote, I've seen how brutal people can be about your body and your appearance. I wasn't sure I could handle that. And her breakthrough with Unholy, her collaboration with Sam Smith, it says she was sparked with an avalanche of misgendering taunts. Biological man, biological man. I got that from literally everywhere. I have been afraid of that so much because it stings and hurts to be analyzed like that. As if you don't directly profit off of being trans for your career.
Yeah. What is the outlet of the article that you're reading from?
Entertainment Weekly.
Because I'm so sick of media referring to men as she. It is dishonest. It is confusing for the reader. It's like bad journalism, in my opinion.
Well, it's almost like they will get fired from their jobs. If
I know,
they
but
didn't do that.
I appreciate that there are some outlets that are straightforward about the truth of it. But like even articles about like the sports stuff, they'll say like a man who is in women's sports, they'll say she. And I'm like, what the actual
all of this is so you can
hell
reach
is
a
going
fake
on right now?
Cultural milestone.
Yeah.
With Unholy, Kim Petras became the first trans artist on a #1 Billboard hit and the first to win a Grammy in her category of Best Pop Duo Group Performance, with Sam Smith as the first non-binary artist to win. It's just so that they can reach these fake milestones.
Yeah.
The Breitbart article
Historic
hilariously doesn't use any pronouns.
They avoid
says,
it completely.
Yeah, it says like,
Which
so
is-
treat me like a singer says. It's like,
That's almost more confusing for the reader.
Yeah, I feel like just call the guy he. It's
No,
well, they're like subtle jabs from Breitbart.
Yeah.
the
which I
Breitbart
thought-
one calls him he.
oh,
It
does
does?
it's somewhere in here maybe,
The
but
unholy singer went on to say that he is extremely alarmed
Oh,
by
yeah, it does.
politicians recently.
Oh,
but
they-
aside
okay.
from the like subtly promoting these types of drugs for kids, he's saying stuff about like sex work can be so empowering for my friends to make money to transition.
Yeah, that
It's so messed up.
it's like I have strangers pay to sexually penetrate me so that one day I can save up and afford a surgery where they cut my genitals off. And if you don't think that this is normal and healthy and empowering, then you're a hateful bigot and you are on the wrong side of history. I'm okay with that, actually.
I don't
I'm okay
I
with
don't
that.
think sex work, it seems very empowering for anybody, but this notion that like you should use sex work so you can have these surgeries or get hormones and pretend you're a woman.
And kids are a part of our movement, by the way. Yeah.
Yeah. That's,
Another thing that was brought up here is the scandal about Dr. Luke and Kesha, where he was accused of drugging and R-wording her. And it's interesting how when you get any criticism or attack from your own woke camp, you're allowed to stay silent on it. Because Kim Petras has worked with Dr. Luke on songs before, and interestingly had no comment about whether or not Dr. Luke is
They settled
guilty.
out of court last week.
They reached a settlement.
was that still going on?
I'm hoping.
Yes. So
well,
it
considering
says,
there's
when
no proof
asked
there,
in
I'm
various ways about her association with Dr. Luke earlier this month during what was at the time an ongoing litigation, Kim Petras declined to comment other than to say to her fans, "I hope you can still listen to my music and enjoy it." Like, when you receive attacks from your own camp, they'll ignore your problematic past just because you fit in the trans category.
She said, Kesha says, nobody really knows what happened that night. And he goes, I know. I didn't do anything. Because he was suing her for defamation. And they've been sued. She's been sued several times.
Her team had to sign off on that press release also. So
that was like another Me Too thing, right?
Less, I mean, it got less attention than a lot of the other ones, but
I remember that being a thing like a long time ago.
It happened. I mean, the incident happened in 2005, but then she
Okay.
came out about it in like 2017 or something.
Okay.
like that. It was a while
2017 just feels so long ago
Yeah.
now.
Yeah,
one
it
of
was.
Kim Petras's biggest songs, I think this was like the first one that like charted, was "I Don't Want It At All," which is basically like a Paris Hilton-esque I want all my clothes designer kind of materialistic Barbie caricature of women, basically.
That's like a,
no one is gonna say that, but
that's what a lot of the guys pretending to be women do.
it's
They
like running
play
around
up,
in a tutu and high heels.
They play up this ridiculous stereotype of what a woman is,
and my
and it's like a
accessories
bimbo.
are like what
and,
make me
Yeah.
female.
Yeah.
Now even like Playboy has endorsed this, making Kim Petras one of their models. And like this used to be, I mean, I'm not saying like Playboy was ever some kind of like bastion
But
of
do they
traditional
know
gender
who? Do they
roles,
know
but,
who
like,
their audience is?
Yeah, like their audience is straight men who
Yeah.
aren't interested in someone with an Adam's
it
apple.
was same thing with Sports Illustrated.
They've gone through rebranding those. Playboy has and Sports Illustrated have since Hefner died. So
It's no longer
Yeah.
Playboy. It's Play They Them.
yeah.
But just like with like Margaret Sanger, have nothing to say about Hugh Hefner's past or any of the
plenty of
allegations
people have
against him.
plenty to say about Hugh Hefner's past, though, with all the people who've done their
Well, I mean, Playboy
biographies.
is never going to answer for
Yeah.
Hugh Hefner's past, just the way that Planned Parenthood is never going to answer for Margaret Sanger's past.
I do find an interesting part where they don't really understand that they answer their own question as to why people are so annoyed by this stuff these days in the first paragraph, where it says, when I was a trans kid, everyone would call me crazy, but I wasn't so publicly demonized. It's scary for us all who just want to live a normal life. That's because before then, they point out that it's just 1% of the population. Yes, but they get 80% of the media coverage. And what people notice is that it's disingenuous to give such a small portion of the population as much adulation and media attention as you give them. It doesn't ring real to society. It doesn't feel like anything honest. And people can catch on to that. And beyond the people like those who might be here who see it as indoctrination of kids, which in a lot of ways it is.
And I think
it's also just clearly agenda driven.
Yeah, and I think that percentage is going up amongst kids because of the social contagion factor of it, and it being pushed so much and being pushed on social media and apps like TikTok, and kids no longer being told, oh, it's normal for you to feel uncomfortable in your body as it's changing. They're being told, you're in the wrong body. There's something wrong with you, and I can fix it. Take these drugs, have these surgeries. It's so abusive.
Yep, and the pop stars that are singing this stuff are right on the front lines of helping them.
Yeah,
Might as well
it's
give
coming
them...
from an international pop star of all people that, we just want to live a normal life. I just want to, present in society as a woman because there's something, I don't know, defective about my brain where my biology doesn't match who I feel I am mentally. It's coming from someone who has put out songs called Throat Goat and Treat Me Like a Slut.
I think
you're not a normal person.
Yeah,
you're not living a normal life. Yeah. You want the attention.
I think that the things that people who are clearly severely mentally ill say in regards to activism on this stuff shouldn't hold that much weight given their mental state and problems.
Right, exactly.
That might sound a little harsh, but I think that the truth is more compassionate than, tiptoeing around and lying about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's they don't realize that what they're asking for is to be left alone. It's Harry and Meghan all over again. They're asking to be left alone while then bombarding you with media about them and then wondering why you find it disingenuous or don't exactly like to feel like you're being preached to by someone, because certainly I don't think they would want to have me talking about my life preaching to them about anything. And why would they, right? Just like other people don't want them doing it to them. I wouldn't expect anyone to want me to do it to them. So,
along with her use of hormones, Kim Petras credits the unwavering support of her parents as a lifesaver. When she was very young, her family let her dress how she wanted at home. Quote, it was usually in a tutu or in whatever the most ridiculous dress there was. Those hyper-feminine outfits became a refuge from the days that she had to present as a boy at school. Quote, having to hide that part of myself and feeling like this monster who can't get out of the house or everyone's going to effing scream made those clothes my identity. You made clothes that were ridiculously hyper-feminine into your identity. You said the quiet part out loud. Sorry, but it couldn't be more obvious. And then if your parents were really letting you express yourself the way that you wanted as a boy, then why would you get put on a cycle of hormone treatments at 12 years old? And then also getting your penis cut off at 16 years old.
It was 16 years old?
Yeah, because in Germany, I think they've been like way more progressive on this issue than other countries. I mean, that's where the Weimar Republic was.
You think maybe even...
That's where those experimentations began.
If you'd done something like that, I feel like it'd be really hard to even accept it, even if you knew you'd made a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
What do you mean?
Like, if you had a surgery that mutilates you willingly, it may be
What's
hard.
the off-ramp? You know?
Yeah, like, how would you go back on that?
Yeah.
And it might be hard to admit that that wasn't a good move, even if you did realize it.
Where's the off-ramp for people like this, you know?
They become the detransitioners and they, like, get bullied online.
But that's, like, more horrifying than just continuing to live what you know is a lie.
It's like you've already gone this far in this direction. You kind of have to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
There was
or it might feel that way.
They recently pulled a movie about detransitioners out of AMC theaters.
Of course they did.
After backlash from people.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't go and see that now. And get
God forbid you tell your truth.
Well, your truth is inconvenient in this case. So.
But I feel like if you had like done something like that, maybe you don't regret it, but even if you did, I can't imagine how difficult it would be to say so.
Nobody acts like this if they don't have like a massive void in their
Like
life.
they have
You're
to prove
overcompensating.
themselves all the time.
Yeah. So like I don't look at this individual and say like this person's, has a really strong sense of self and what they think is right and wrong.
You mean you
even
don't
for
look
them.
at the picture of the
Bloody
blood
mouth.
dripping out of the mouth with
Yeah.
horns on the head and think this person's really got it all together?
Right.
With a world tour called Feed the Beast.
Ah, yes.
Come on now.
Seems like a great role
Could
model.
it be more
to
on the
me.
nose? All right, let's go to Super Chats. Gordon Shimway said, Hollywood needs to face reality. They are not going to make huge money at the box office anymore. They will not make money on DVD sales. They need to learn to make movies on a smaller budget.
Yep, the number one complaint that I said to DC long before the DCEU even got started back then, I said was to make smaller budget movies with less risk behind the investment, focus on story so that you don't have to spend all your time. There's all these articles that keep coming out about how much of a nightmare the CGI work is, how much of a nightmare it is to work on the CGI for these films because of the process of the bidding process to get the contracts to make these movies. Smaller budgets, similar to what they did with Joker, but you don't need to make it so serious. Just smaller budgets, less sets, less CGI.
Like what you did there.
Yes, thank you. So yeah, they'd be better off doing that.
Sketch Therapy said, Lex sparred with both Zuck and Elon. Lex is the next Don King.
Yeah, I knew we saw Lex spar with Zuckerberg first, and
Or
then
like
Elon
Flex Friedman. So.
Lex Friedman for Lex Luthor.
Hey, that's
not a bad idea, actually.
Not a bad idea.
Michael Malice for Lex Luthor.
There you go. No, he can Michael Malice can be Lex Luthor, and Lex Friedman can be Lionel Luthor.
Or
You sound a little bit
Brainiac.
echoey, Brett.
Do I?
I don't know what that is, but
There's something wrong with my mic here.
yeah, I feel like since the beginning of the show you sound a little echoey.
That's too
Waffle
bad.
Sensei said they do say goodbye on the phones in Hollywood, just only when one of the characters is going to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's my favorite part.
That's when they say "I love you."
Yeah, there's like a random moment where a character is like unbelievably emotional with another person for no reason whatsoever, and you're just like, well, that guy's gonna die soon.
Yeah,
like, or anytime a side character in a television show starts getting just a little bit too much screen time, bad things are afoot, ladies and gentlemen.
Carnell said, for episode 400, please get Carter, Ian, and Phil in studio for a live performance of The Crisis Party. This is my request. We could make that happen.
That's a pretty good idea. We'll have to.
I think we're just gonna let people walk in and out of the studio as they please.
Yep, people can come and go. Do one
It'll
more.
be like a musical Chairs
Crisis
episode.
Party marathon.
Yeah. Shane H. Wilder said, realizing I hold my phone in mechanic's grip. What is that?
Don't know.
What's
Mechanic's grip?
All right.
Like you're holding on for dear life.
All right, guys, let's move on. We got a $20 one right there from Joshua French.
It's no wonder people are
$120.
having less, don't want to be making a move on your lady and find out she's a he. Cue up Aerosmith's Dude Looks Like a Lady.
That's it's not hard to believe that in the dating scene now, like the first question you're asked, it's like, how's your relationship with your parents? Where did you go to school?
Have you always been a woman?
Yes. Are you a dude? That's what you ask the ladies. All right. I want to talk a little bit about Marvel because Marvel has had some repeated. I'm sorry, not just Marvel. Disney, as it were, has gotten a bunch of bad news recently. Indiana Jones is looking that it could make less than two. It could lose 250. Did I say Indiana Jones? Because I said something else. Look, it could lose up to $250 million at the box office. What's up?
Nothing. You should make me laugh.
I'm a funny guy. What can I say? It could lose up to $250 million at the box office, and Secret Invasion looks to be barely making it to 1 million views an episode, which is awful considering Samuel L. Jackson is the dude in the show, who's leading the show, and Disney Plus now is the third largest streaming service there is, so they should be breaking numbers way higher than that. But the reports for Dial of Destiny have gotten consistently worse over time. At one point early in June, they were saying it was going to make between $81 and $111 million on its opening weekend, with a total of like 225.
Which would still be low.
Yeah, with like a total of like $225 to $380 million domestic, all in when it's done.
It's gone down to like 60 million.
68 to 95 million in they're saying $211 to $325 million all in for the domestic box office. $60 to $70 million opening is what the Hollywood Reporter said. All the pre-sale tickets have been below John Wick and Fast and the Furious. And I know other people were saying, like, look, you're being black-pilled on this. It's going to make a bunch of money. It's Indiana Jones. The trailers have been uninspiring. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is uninspiring. I only really love I know everybody loves Indiana Jones. I love Raiders of the Lost Ark, but I don't have any great attachment to this franchise. I think what it is going to end up doing, I think this will end up doing for Crystal Skull what the new version of the sequel trilogy did for the prequels, which means you'll look a lot more fondly on at Shia LaBeouf than you would have if they hadn't made this movie. Thank you.
Got me.
Got him.
It's party time.
Got me.
You okay?
I jumped.
Do you need to change your pants?
It's okay. So it's got a budget of $295 million, which means after marketing, we're looking at about $445 million, which means it has to make almost $900 million at the box office if it wants to break even. Mm-hmm. That's insane. Yeah. So if they're saying it's going to open to 140 and that it could make between $400 and $450 million, they say, like, your opening weekend for a movie, you make about a third of your box office that opening weekend, right? So if they do that and they make a third of their money the opening weekend and all you make is $140 million, you're not going to be doing that well. And I don't know what you expect from anything when everything you make these days seems to fail to really resonate with audiences. We've seen multiple Disney live action fails. We've seen multiple fails from the animated division. Elemental didn't do very good other than the fact that it got to beat out The Flash during the week last week, which is really, really funny. And then beyond all that, Secret Invasion, barely 1 million views, under 1 million views in its first week, which is very, very bad news for Disney Plus, because all of these companies have really hitched their wagon to streaming, thinking that that's going to be the way that they're going to make money going forward. But eventually, you're just going to cap out the market, right? Mm-hmm. Everybody who's going to sign up for one of these streaming services has gotten there. Like, I can't think of any new, like, I've switched off between some at this point where I'll cancel one for a while. Like, I currently don't have Disney Plus, but I will cancel one and go back to certain ones. I get BritBox like every 6 months.
A pirate who's like, what if there's rum at the port?
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. I say it in that voice, too. I sound just like that when I say it.
You push up your glasses and snort.
Hiya.
What if there's rum at the port, guys?
Exactly. And I do this, I go. So 775,000 domestic views. Like, if you look at what a network television show still does weekly, or even cable, like, look, Succession on HBO got like 4.3 million in its final episode, which was the highest it had gotten. And random episodes of reality shows get tens of millions of views per episode that cost way less to make. We're about to hit a writer's strike. You don't got to pay them as much in the writing.
Reality TV renaissance. This is what I've been saying.
Well, that's what they ended up doing. I mean, a big part of reality TV.
Shut up, Wesley.
A big part of the reality TV boom came because of the 07-08 writer's strike, because they didn't have content. We're in a little bit of a different position right now because in the world of streaming, more shows have been done and ready to go. So they've got more stuff to put to market before they have to, scramble and find new stuff to make. But we could end up seeing something like that where we see way more reality TV shows. Fun fact, and I've told this story on the show before, Vice or one of these other publications blamed the 2007-2008 writer strike on Donald Trump becoming president, because they said that the re-signing of The Apprentice was what drove him into some type of cultural renaissance, as if he wasn't popular before
we're
that.
going to see the uprising of the next dictator of America.
Be careful if they give Barron Trump a reality TV show right now, because I really do think he ends up being the dictator we've asked for.
I would love a Melania reality show. There is this hilarious rant in the comments section that I wanted to read. It looks like it will be another $250 million loss under the uncreative and incompetent lead of Kathleen Kennedy. What will Bob wannabe businessman Iger do now? An employee who has only made losses in recent years with shows, films, even fears making more Star Wars films and has now destroyed the last great hero of her company next to Star Wars and Willow. And she gets paid for it too. So what is the logical decision for that person, Bob? I would guess that person could get their papers from HR and leave. But we're talking about Disney and his outstanding and unattainable CEO, Bob the Clown Iger. Pathetic.
She's the third highest grossing producer of all time.
After
Feige and I think James Cameron. I forget who the number 2 was, but yeah, she's like she's very, or no, it might have been Steven Spielberg, and his just because he trained her, right? So whatever you say about Kathleen Kennedy, she is very annoying, but it makes you wonder, right? Like, what are these companies going to do if they can't seem to make series like Secret Invasion, which has a star the size of Samuel L. Jackson on
and
it.
Emilia Clarke, right?
And Emilia, yeah. So like, what do you do when nothing they seem to make resonates with people? It does feel like the best thing you can do now is get away from all of these name brand like you're better off making a monster, right? Like the Dahmer series, they're following it up with the one on the Menendez brothers. You're better off just going the true crime route. Like, Disney should just drop all of this stuff and just that's what they want, right? They want female audiences anyways. The force is female. It's just going to be a force of true crime where they're just going to report on a bunch of serial murderers that women like to do makeup and watch podcasts.
They like reality TV. They like true crime. They like house flipping.
They don't care about Marvel and they don't care about Star Wars.
What they're going to do is they're going to do those things in universe where they're chasing a serial killer in space, or they're we're renovating the ship. We're renovating.
What will happen is because we're going to see Indiana Jones tomorrow. He's going to be watching, he's going to be listening to Serial while he's doing his work.
Is this true that you can get a free ticket to see Dial of Destiny if you spend $35 at Applebee's? Is that true?
I have no idea.
We should go into Applebee's tonight.
We should go tonight and find out. So, look, if it's got to make
100% on board.
No, I would pay $35 to not have to eat Applebee's.
Another person said Disney can continue to profit by allowing their CIA child trafficking operation to flourish.
Actually, Applebee's margaritas.
Applebee's food is definitively mid.
Yeah, but
it's below
they've got a bar.
It's below mid. I'm sorry. It really is.
I have no problem with Applebee's whatsoever.
And I'm
a Chili's guy.
Call me mid.
For food, it's like, if you're gonna eat it, then you can't say that you don't like it. And I've eaten Applebee's, so it's a 1 on the binary.
Yeah. Is there any movies or television shows you guys are looking forward to?
Yes, Oppenheimer for sure. I'm really looking forward to it.
I haven't been seeing much marketing for it.
You pronounced Barbie wrong.
Yeah, I did. Barbenheimer.
That's what I've been calling it. That's what that weekend is to be. We're seeing both movies on I'm seeing both movies on the same.
Are you sure you want to do that?
No, but
I accidentally bought tickets for the same night for both of them, and I was like, crap.
It'll
Double
be
feature.
It'll be like in the same theater. You won't even have to get up.
But Brett's gonna have to see
back.
only part of Barbie to make it in time for Oppenheimer, which is 3 hours long.
I'm gonna end up hating Oppenheimer because by the time it's done, I'm gonna have been at the theater for like 4.5 hours. And I'm just gonna want to leave. So
is it? It's the one that's got the nice recliner chairs at least.
Still 5 hours in the same
place. You could take a nap partway through.
Get your drunken fries.
Yeah.
I love my drunken
fries.
If
I were to, who made Barbie? Universal?
Greta Gerwig.
No. What?
Mattel Studios.
Oh, is that Paramount?
Technically a thing.
Okay.
So aren't there a bunch of Barbie movies that are the animated ones? Is it the same?
Believe it or not, I have no knowledge of anything to do with
There's
Barbie.
There's a bunch of animated Barbie movies.
I watched
if I was in the
all
marketing department there, I'd be like, our movie actually is the bomb.
The girls I babysat watched them.
Really?
Yeah, I was too old.
I watched Princess and the Pauper.
Is it the same?
Barbie Fairytopia.
Is Mattel
Iconic.
responsible for those as well?
Well, yeah, they must be.
Okay, so this is just their first film that's not animated.
But it's also for adults, not kids.
Oh.
Which I thought was an interesting choice from the very beginning. There is innuendo in there and curse words. I'm pretty sure.
Is there anything
Yeah.
that you guys are watching right now? Is there anything that Disney has made? You liked Andor, right?
I loved Andor,
So is there anything else Disney has made that you found enjoyable lately?
Not lately.
They're saying that
you know what we
Coven of
watch
Chaos is
all
going
the
to be the
time.
Andor of
Unsolved Mysteries.
Marvel.
Yes, that's what we watch.
We watch Unsolved Mysteries.
Yep.
Unsolved Mysteries is good. I can't even remember anything that's coming out. I feel like we watched an A24 trailer. recently.
Did you watch the trailer for Five Nights at Freddy's?
It was the one that it was the one that was in a different
A24?
language. But when we
No,
watched the
that's
trailer,
like 5 years old.
It's
Die to
Blumhouse.
see an A24
That's
Five Nights at
2018.
Freddy's movie.
I mean, that's not all that different
what
from
was the other
Blumhouse.
one then?
Wait, what?
What'd you say?
She said, "I die to see." She says, "You die to see an A24 Five Nights at Freddy's."
Oh, you're talking about the Five Nights at Freddy's
movie.
No, A24 is coming out with
Blumhouse
Priscilla
is making.
about Elvis's wife, and then there was also that Joaquin Phoenix one recently.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what it
something
was
about
called.
Bo.
We watched a trailer
It's
for
not
an
something
older
about
one.
Bo.
Bo is in the title.
It's the spin-off from There's Something
Like-
About Mary.
We're worried about Bo or something.
Bo something. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
remember. It's Ari Aster.
Bo
that's all I
is
know.
boring.
Yeah.
It's some boring
Bo's
ass
Big Day
title
Out.
like that. yeah, it's like such stupid shit like that.
It's a
The
sign
Secret Life
of-
of Bo.
That whole trailer just was so pretentious.
Aaron
I know
watched
that
that the other night.
pretentious is your taste in films, so maybe you'd like it.
Wait, what?
I mean,
I watch Harley Davidson
be
and the
honest.
Marlboro Man. Like, I
you're
do
an
like.
art house guy.
I like some of them. I don't like most of them.
It's a sign of how far a company like Disney has fallen to take these characters and these
Bo's afraid.
franchises.
Bo
that
is
are worth-
afraid. Yeah, it's sort of like A Man Called Otto. Like you with the title, you already lost me.
Yeah.
Like it just
It's-
takes itself way too seriously.
Same director as Midsommar.
Yeah.
No, same guy.
Oh, is that the actual pronunciation of it?
Midsommar. Yeah.
Oh well, I'm not doing that. They're not getting that.
Which
out
is
of me.
actually a blasphemous mockery of the May crowning of the Virgin Mary.
Hmm.
And I will not be supporting it.
Wasn't a very good movie.
You didn't like it? I thought you said
Midsommar?
earlier that you liked it.
No, I like that first act.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. All right. Fair enough.
And the
All right.
rest of the movie is hot garbage.
So Disney should do some soul searching because you have characters. They spent $4 billion on Lucasfilm, and they can't get these movies to profit at all
I feel like
anymore.
we're
Well, the
gonna
first three
even
did
see them
massively.
in our lifetime sell Lucasfilm.
I would like. I was thinking earlier. Like, would you believe that they would sell Lucasfilm before Marvel? I don't know.
Are they gonna sell Pixar?
I think they would sell Pixar first because they have their own animated division, and they seem to be spending most of their time pushing Pixar videos or movies out to streaming before they were releasing them in theaters. Remember, because they were like they
Pixar
released
is doing hot
Lightyear.
garbage as well.
They released Lightyear in theaters, but then most of them for a long time were all going straight to
Yeah.
streaming. So I think if they got rid of any of them first, I think they would get rid of that, or they'd get rid of 20th Century Fox.
Yeah.
And get rid of all the stuff that's connected to that.
I just can't see
Searchlight.
them admitting defeat. I just see them going deeper and deeper into debt.
Well, that's the Iger way, right? Just buy
Bob
more.
wannabe businessman Iger.
It's,
Pathetic.
It's just like I don't know what the issue is. You know what I mean? Like why this is happening. I feel like it's a multi-pronged issue. Obviously, it's not one reason, but like everything they put out, everything feels like trite and derivative. Like
They're
I didn't hate
devaluing so many franchises right now.
Yeah, but like even
who's gonna want them by the end?
the last
They're
Pixar
shitting
that
on everything.
the last Pixar I saw was
dragging
Soul.
them through mud.
Then I start eating garbage.
And the last Pixar movie I saw was Soul, the Jamie Foxx one.
Yeah.
And it like isn't offensive. It was just nothing. It was just nothing.
That's what people were saying about
Everything
Elemental.
that they're putting out is lifeless slop.
Yeah. It feels
What?
like somebody
Am I
that's
wrong?
writing or
No.
something.
Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
They have ideas, but they don't know how to execute them.
All of the, especially with animation, it's all like weird, like self-administered therapy from adult animators and writers who aren't making things for kids. They're making things for themselves because they're adult children.
Yeah, it's weird, and it like that. There's elements of that in the stuff that was good, like the original Toy Story, and like there are elements of.
I wouldn't
things
consider that. I wouldn't consider that adults making things for themselves, though. Like
No.
that genuinely appealed to children.
Yeah, well, it's adults making things for families, which I
Sure.
think is fair. Like you're not going to like. It's not just shaking keys, you know.
It's not Coco Melon.
Right, yeah, exactly. But it had like there's something to this like your own truth environment we're in to where everything feels empty because there's no resolution in your story. Even if it feels like there is, it's somehow empty. Whereas with like Toy Story things before, it felt like it said like, hey, this time in your life can be hard, but here's how it ends up. And like there was some sort of like resolution to how life will be, and life isn't. there is some wisdom in it, where what we're getting now feels like they still don't know shit about shit. Like the people making it.
If there was a way, if
I said that poorly, but I think the point got across.
If Disney came to you and said, fix our studio, how would you fix them?
I would do the Steven Soderbergh model, where he was like, if I ran one of these giant studios, the first thing I would do is eliminate all of essentially the Hollywood deep state. So he's like, get rid of everybody. He was like, what is your total filmmaking budget? Choose 4 creators, give them that budget, and say, I need this many products from you this year. So he would say, he would be one of those people, one of those recipients of those funds in that particular scenario, where it's like, hey, you're not going to direct all of these. You might direct one this year, but here's enough money for 5 projects, find 5 other directors who have an idea that you believe in, and put it in their hands, and source all of those to different production houses rather than
in-house.
Right. And so that everything that comes out from this studio feels like a completely different product.
But isn't that the opposite of what they want? They want everything to feel like it's coming out from the same company.
Exactly.
It's actually, and it's antithetical to their business model, because everything they don't make.
But how's their business model doing?
They don't make their money at the theaters or on Disney Plus. They make their money in the theme parks and on merch. So you need a consistent feel from product to product.
I don't think you need that.
I mean, for a kids company, I think you do.
No, I don't think you do. I think they say the exact opposite. They say they want a diverse palette of options, but everything feels trite and, bland.
Is there a studio you think is doing that better? Universal?
I don't know anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know anymore. I would say 5 years ago, I would have said Blumhouse is doing that.
They're the ones making
Universal is doing well.
Yeah. You're right about that, but also Blumhouse is the one making the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Right.
But they're obviously doing it on a quarter of the budget with way less overhead, right? The studio's smaller, way less investment, which means way less risk project to project.
Yep.
So
and the reason that movies cost so much is not because they're expensive to make. It's because of this massive structure of dollar shifting to make people who are rich stay rich. It's paying people off. Essentially, it's like, because what is that money actually going towards? Because
even the parts,
there's all these movies are expensive. Visual effects are expensive, but half the visual effects artists are outsourced and they make $5 an hour.
There was an article today where they were talking about the insane way that they bid on contracts to make these movies for visual effects houses, which is why they were explaining why where the effects in the Flash were so bad. But also the parks aren't even making the money that they used to.
Yep.
It's become a meme at this point that you go to these toy stores and all of the toys from new characters end up unsold because they don't resonate with anyone. If you go and buy Toy Story stuff, you're not going to see anybody buying stuff. It's all going to be Buzz and Woody, and if they got to choose between weird looking cop Woody or weird looking cop Buzz from the new one or the original, they're going to go with the new one every time. Or in this case, or if we're talking original trilogy, if you're going to get Han, Luke, and Leia toys, they're going to buy that over Rey and all those characters. So that's I don't know if there's a way back for Disney other than the fact that I just think they're too big to fail at this point. I don't think they'll ever be allowed to fail.
Yeah.
I think they're just going to keep going and they're just going to keep making projects. Maybe there's a time where almost by hook or by crook, they make smaller budgeted movies without even realizing they're doing it, and it ends up creating a sort of a renaissance without it meaning to be that. But very hard to buy considering budgets and runtimes seem to do nothing but balloon lately.
Yeah.
So, all right, we got some super chats there. Do we not, Mary?
Perturbed Alpaca said, channel your inner Chris Pontius and become the party boy, strip down to your skivvies. It's cool to say you're a train and gyrate on the annoying douche. I don't know what that's in reference to.
He's talking about the guy from Jackass, right?
Yeah.
But what's he talking about?
When he would do stuff like that.
Yeah, but I don't understand why it was brought up.
I don't know. Related to the conversation, but thank you.
There's a $20 one there from Gabby Hayes.
Wesley, I have to do it because you're here and everyone else hates it. Last Jedi. Favorite scene, least favorite scene. I'd like to know, Mary, the spice today was real. You should do that whole episode for 400. LOL.
That would be very spicy.
I think you guys would enjoy Brett and I riffing when we're pre-show and we're just joking about stuff that we're about to talk about, because I feel like there's a little bit of a mental block that we have when the cameras turn on, where we don't like, I don't know, we want to get our points in, but like if you don't have a point to make, then we're just able to have fun.
It's why the start of the show
So-
segments tend to be more fun than a lot of
Yeah.
times in the actual segments, because everyone feels like they have to say something important. And
Yeah.
my
So
job is
episode
not to say
400
something
is just going to
important.
be us like goofing off the way that we do before the show every day, which is a lot of the time funnier than what ends up being on the show.
All right, Wesley, favorite scene, least favorite scene from The Last Jedi?
My favorite scene is either the opening scene or the crate battle, and least favorite is Canto Bite.
Quiet Inari said these people are champagne Satanists.
That's an interesting term. I've never heard that one before.
Very
Luis
applicable.
Aguilar said regarding Petras, it's easier to fool someone than to convince someone they've been fooled.
That is true.
Ooh.
We got a message. Or
Professor Dolt
$2
sent
without a
one, but it
message.
says Professor Dolt sent one, and it says message retracted.
Redacted.
So
All
I
right.
don't know if Professor Dolt wants that read. So I will
I
just
won't
say
read it.
thank you, Professor Dolt.
Shane H. Wilder said Roku already did that with Murder House Flip, a reality show about flipping serial killer homes. It was mid.
Look,
that had
Oh,
such
no.
potential.
I know it's a thing.
That's so like female audience driven.
Yeah. It's a trope that like when somebody dies in a home, like it's harder to sell, or in an apartment building, because it has to be disclosed on the forms that somebody has died.
People bought the,
Does
the
it
John
have to
Benet
be
Ramsey
disclosed?
house.
Yes. I mean, it might depend on the state, but in a lot of states, yeah, you have to disclose whether somebody died there. So
People bought the house where John Benet Ramsey died, and then they like interviewed them about it, and like they did like it was disclosed to them before they bought it.
But easier to sell a famous murder house than just a nobody murder house. Like if you're buying the house where John Benet Ramsey died, that'll go for tons of money. But if you have to buy the home where anonymous person A dies, there's nothing glamorous about that.
Would finding out that information deter anyone here from buying a house?
I mean, I would definitely
In this
buy
economy?
I would definitely buy a historic home where people have obviously died in there. But
I don't know how to buy Lizzie Borden's house, though.
I think if something like some like satanic ritual or something happened in a house, then I would be more hesitant. Just
like a
because
violent
of-
murder or something.
If somebody came up to
Right.
me and was like, look, like there's like a huge blood stain on the carpet. And they're like, look, this guy had his head chopped off and then his limbs removed.
Okay,
but we'll
what
sell
if they
you.
clean it up real nice
that's-
and you can't tell?
that's
I'd be like,
the
well,
point is,
what kind of deal do you want to give me on this house?
the point is, what I would say is like, but you're gonna change the carpet, right? For that price, I'll
And they're like, yeah,
sure.
of course.
Like I was like, if you're not going to
You're
change
like,
the carpet, I'll just dye the rest of the
"Take
carpet
my
red.
money."
Like it's like that's fine with me. It doesn't bother me.
Okay,
at
but
all.
if there were like a satanic ritual murder in a certain house,
No.
I don't think I'd go for it. Or I'd just get like, I'd buy it, but I get like a team of priests to come through and like cleanse it of all the demons.
I would say the death. If they're like, there was recently a death here, and like what, a guy tripped over and hit his head on the. Oh, like, okay, well, like that's gonna happen.
There was a fire at this building.
Yeah.
There's
I
also
don't know if anybody died in it, but
in
Somebody choked on a
no,
saltine.
that's where I came from. I'm the ghost of the house that I died in the fire.
in the show
The
Angel,
rumors are true.
Yeah.
In the show Angel, Charisma Carpenter's character has there's a ghost in her house and she just lives with the ghost. They just can't get rid of it.
It's
so
chill.
it's just chill. It hangs out with her.
If I started a show like that, I would call it H.H. Holmes, but like the L had fallen off.
I'm so down for like that show idea. Like I'm down for like look, a bunch of famous people died here. Like whatever happened to the Manson? Like where the Mansons
We
lived,
got one
or-
from Gabby
Well, that was
Hayes.
like on a movie set, wasn't it?
Was it?
Gabby Hayes
I
said,
thought so.
I really enjoyed when Luke was
The
in the
Spawn
cave
Ranch?
chamber with Rey and told her at the height of their power, the Jedi allowed the Sith to rise and overthrow them. It hit home. Mace's naivete about Dooku in
Dookie. Count Dookie.
Wait, what is this? I'm not a Star Wars person, I don't know, but that was alarming.
Cool. It was a good scene.
Nathan
That's
Koss-
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith, sorry. I'm not a Star Wars fan. Nathan Koss said, eat hot chip, lie, and listen to stories about grisly crime. YouTube won't let me say the W word.
It's
They
like
won't let you say whammon.
It's like that video I sent you of Tucker Carlson is like, all young bitches want to do is smoke weed.
He didn't call them bitches.
Yes, he does. And it's not him. It's an AI voice. But he says, all young bitches want to do is smoke weed. He says
He
bitches.
definitely said the N-word in that video.
No, yes, well, that's why we didn't end up showing it on the show, because it's not him.
We
but,
definitely
yeah.
would have.
Yeah, it's really, really funny.
Wait,
Also,
this
there
is
was
like
a-
an AI
I'll play it for
thing?
you. I'll play you after the show.
Okay.
It's really, really good.
There was a video that Kara sent me earlier that I wanted us to react to. I'm gonna send it to you, Brett, and if you're willing to pull it up,
Okay.
we'll react to this. This is like subliminal messaging from Disney. Perturbed Alpaca said, "Way beginning of the episode, cringe of the day." Wait,
You can?
what?
What about it? What about the way beginning of the episode, cringe of the day?
I don't get it.
Okay.
I don't get it.
Here's the video you wanted us to react to. Subliminal messaging.
Tell me this wasn't intentional.
Guess what?
Oh, I saw this.
The N-word.
Hey! That's a good one.
You can't?
That's even worse than the thing about the Taylor Swift one I sent you the other day. It's like she walked 513 steps. What letter of the episode of the alphabet is the fifth? And then she it goes. It's basically Taylor Swift QAnon fans.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High Voltage 75 said, "Mary, did you explore the catacombs under Paris?" No, I didn't, and I really wish I did.
Should've
I'll
done
have
that.
to go back.
All right, guys. Before
Well, we got
go-
one more.
Oh, we got one more.
Courier 626 said, "Thanks for all your content." You're welcome.
I didn't see that one. All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us today. Would you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to this channel if you have not done so already? Thank you so much for that. Mary, where can they find you?
You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on Twitter. That is also Mary Archived. If you haven't watched my appearance on the Chrissy Mayer Pod, go watch that. I posted on my Instagram story and on Twitter, and you can find the link there. And also, if you want to submit your memes for the next meme review, go to our subreddit for Pop Culture Crisis, and we will consider them for review.
Do we want to do that on episode 400?
That'd be fun.
We could just do that on episode
Yeah,
400.
yeah.
I think
Let's
that
save it
works.
for 400.
All right. Wesley, where can they find you?
You can find me on timcast.com under the Cast Castle tab.
Perfect. Taylor.
I'm on Twitter at TM Silverman and on Instagram at Taylor May Silverman.
No blue check.
No blue check. I'm not paying for Twitter. But yeah, I'm on Cast Castle at timcast.com. And I'm going to be at an upcoming conference if anyone happens to be in Denver. It's July 21st through 23rd with Icons Women. You can check out the information on iconswomen.com. And it's about saving women's sports if you're interested.
I mean, you could go see Oppenheimer and Barbie that day, but if you want to save women's sports, you can do that too.
This is
We're not
way
gonna hold
more
it against you.
important than Barbie.
We're not going to hold it against you, ladies and gentlemen. If you guys would like to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. The show is here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. Please remember, next week we will be off for the 4th of July. I'm going to be out of town, so we will be back July 6th. Just a heads up, that is a Thursday. If you'd like to listen to this podcast rather than watch, we are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. And if you'd like to follow the show on social media, we are on Twitter at popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys.
Bye.
Later.
Later.